everybody, and welcome to one of just a few more casts we have this season. The grand finals are here. We are starting it off with Tier 1. First thing to just introduce, I'm Saetzero. I'm with Forte. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Always looking for some help with casting these kind of games, and we've had a good time before, and I'm sure we're going to have another good time watching these guys go at it. We got some very strong players, 2 Fact, 2 Furious versus Let's Attack, both of them just doing super good in the season, super good throughout the playoffs as well. Now they're here at the finals. A lot of good names that we have set up for tonight as well. There is a TBT. It's okay. Guys, it's going to be fine. We're going to get out of the way kind of early. We'll rip the band-aid off. Everyone's going to have a great time. But we got 5 full sets of Tier 1 action. It's going to be a great time. Map choices are a little bit wild, I think, for the finals as well. Good Night Eclipse, and then maybe a third map. We will find out when it happens. But still, I'm super excited just to get started. The finals, always a good time. Everyone, nothing left to hide anymore. So excited to see some really good, desperate play from some of these players. We're going to get started to our first set, though. For 2 Fact Furious, it's going to be Lana is Hot. For Let's Stack, it's going to be Tade. We're going to get started in our first game of the night.
Ooh, let's go. I'm itching. Let's go. Finals, baby.
Finals, baby. All right. Starting off on good night. In the blue Protoss, it is Lana is Hot. In the purple Zerg, it's Tade. So as we've just started the finals, there's no match score yet. We're going to set the tone with the Tier 1 play, and which is honestly, I always like it that way, because, you get the Tier 0, obviously they're gods. Tier 2, Tier 3, sometimes funny things happen. I feel like Tier 1, you get just a lot of really solid games for a lot of people, and lag already may be an issue. Awesome.
Yeah, I'd agree with Tier 1. Tier 0, you just expect these phenomenal plays, and then they come through. Like, I was just casting yesterday some Tier 0 content, and I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. Like, these players are good.
It's almost like CPL is there to improve players, and it seems to work out well. We're getting a pylon at the wall, and immediately the probe moving out should indicate a forge expand, but to be determined, you never quite know, and I don't see an Overlord in the making. Maybe the 9 pool star, a little more aggressive from Tade.
Well, now that's interesting. That's a little bit more of an aggressive option as opposed to the overpool. And also, his first Overlord scouting the correct direction, gonna find that natural expansion. So, a little bit of a first scout with some luck on Zerg's side.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Protoss not getting the right direction and not sending out the second probe just yet, so, hopefully they're not playing with too much fire here. Against the 9 pool, you can get real dangerous here. So, we'll see how things end up going. Second probe comes down. Forge being made, and they're on the move. We'll hopefully find what's going on before too late. And before we get really started in it, Doodle, subscribing with Prime. Always appreciate support to the channel. Thank you so much. I want to talk about good Tier 0 players. We can talk about Doodle Duel, right?
I was just casting his games. Absolutely phenomenal.
Actually,
Chef's kiss.
Actually a monster.
Actually a monster.
6 lanes being made. Here comes the probe. We'll see what's going on. You get here late enough, you're not 100% sure, but you'll see when these lanes are morphing. Is there can be made? Not yet, unfortunately. And Zerg did find the opponent, so, hopefully it doesn't get caught too much in. Ooh, maybe buy a little bit of time trying to keep the probe alive. So we'll see if Tade just wants to go straight for the throat here. We got 2 cans being made, though. Overlord sees it, so, we'll see if that buys enough time. Not pulling any probes down to help guard it. Ling's not chasing the scout, going straight for the damage, see if they can get there in time. But, I think it's just a little too slow. Just a little tiny bit.
Yeah, I agree. These cannons are going to be up in time. With the probes that are here to block, they'll buy enough time.
Very razor edge. It's going to kill at least 1 probe, so you get a little bit for your trouble. So you've got everything pulled down and buying a little bit of time as well. And still, you had to invest in 2 cans, so it really isn't as bad for Zerg as it easily could have been. So maybe good night, just that short distance, making the 9 pool a little bit smarter of a choice. Getting gas behind it as well, and there's that third hatchery down at the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and still we don't see a Nexus yet from Lana. It's just he's waiting for the correct amount. There it is. We'll see him pop it now. It's 3 minutes, 18 seconds-ish. I think this was a pretty good play from Tade.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're always hoping to do damage, but it's not like 9 pool. It's not like in like like if you're playing against like Terran, where it's like, oh, you feel like you gotta do a little bit of damage, you feel like you can do something. Now, what I do see a lot of times though, sometimes you see this 9 pool ghost. A lot of people, it's like, oh, I didn't really get the damage done. I got force some cans to slow things down. Like, you could just bail out right now. I do see a lot of 3-hatch Hydra, which when your opponent already invested in 2 cannons, it sounds counterintuitive, but like if they try to cut corners getting back where they're going with tech, and like scouting, you're not going to be too much trouble. That probe never got killed in the base. So, you come at the right time, you see what's going on. I don't know, building up a decent amount of gas here. I thought he might actually be going for a lair. That'd be pretty cool.
What Lana's doing with this extra probe out on the map, or maybe if that was an attempted fake out, because he's already got the probe in the base, right? So we're going to sneak in and scout. And like you said, it'll be at the right time.
Hydrogen on the way. You got plenty of time to go see what's going on, so it hasn't revealed the probe just yet. If you're committed to lair, like, you don't have to rush into it, and you got plenty of time between like the Hydra upgrades going through and all this stuff. Finds the 3rd base location, never a bad thing to be sure about here. But no real pressure just yet. And it's like, where are you going to go from here as Protoss? Cybercore on the way, so can't make the decision on where tech is. If you're going to get so much knowledge out of this probe in the main, I don't think you actually have to go Stargate. You can go Citadel, I think, and be completely fine if you're comfortable doing that as Lana here. And even with the one already in the main, another one sneaks on in.
what a moment of fruitlessness. This poor probe up here at the top. We don't need you. You're not needed.
Yeah, and there is the Hydrogen revealed. First upgrade on the way is the speed. Gonna try to put the pressure on it. Azella just moving on out. Zergling's not really trying to stop it. Wonder if that actually got seen or not. So we'll see if that can cause any kind of havoc here. 3rd cannon going down. So getting ready, respecting what's possibly going on, and Celt's in the it's going places. I don't know. It's doing stuff.
It's doing stuff. It's probably going to go and harass the 3rd is my guess. It's probably where it's going to get the most value. And then back at the natural, yeah, we see Lana going for that +1 upgrade. I wonder if that's going to finish or if it's going to get picked off.
I don't know exactly. It is the weapons, it's not like you're going for armors. Like, I really want to fight these Hydra to be a good spot. But like I was saying, getting that scout at the good time, what's going on here. Skipping the Stargate, because you're not desperate for knowledge here. You're going to be able to speed up you getting to Storm a little bit faster here. Still only on 1 gateway production at the moment, though. So if you lose that first gateway, might be in a little bit of trouble. Looking like we're going to see a 4th cannon going down as Tade starts accumulating the forces. I don't know. It's always dangerous, like especially on some maps. See how the attack goes, and just gonna run on in here. Just check how strong the defense is. I feel like this is kind of throwing away some
I
stuff.
don't know about this.
Yeah, kills on cannon, but I'm not sure.
I don't like this.
Yeah, that's like you gotta hit this like critical mass where you kill buildings a lot quicker. I feel like you revealed your intention. That's like, oh no, I'm actually trying to attack a little bit, so to defend a little bit more as Lana. It's like, you lost some early units here. Like, now you definitely have more time to get to that Templar, to get to the Storms, all this kind of stuff here. And what in the fuck is happening in the Zerg, man? that's why it never revealed that probe. Okay.
Well-intended play.
Well, the gateway goes down at the front. It's going to cut back unit production back at home, but still 4 cannons alive. Reinforcements going to come through here. I don't see a Templar Archives, and that feels like a mistake. Unless there's like some big shenanigans happening. It's like, you don't want to defend this with just Zealots. They will have speed soon, and actually that +1 looks like it might finish here. If I could snipe that off, that'd actually be huge, but there's the Templar Archive. That's what I was thinking with this like proxy gateway. It's like, it's going to be Templar Archive, sneak a DT in, cause so much chaos that no one would ever even look for.
100%, that's what the plan is, and we'll see if it pays off, because it's a pretty high risk reward situation. But so far, it doesn't look like Tade has anything near that area to reveal it.
Alright, well, a couple of those are going to move out. 5 cannons, all in range here, so the Hydra's got to be careful. Are going to bait the Zealots away, take some free damage here. Some of these cannons getting pretty low here, down to 3. Still no Storm, no Splash damage, going to be able to help out with this one. You got a little bit of Zealots, but remember, without that many gateways kicking in, it's not like you have a ton of units to deal with. Tade's not really reinforcing this attack anymore. So, I don't know, like, it's a little, again, it's like kind of razor's edge, and the Overlord will find that proxy. So, full knowledge that shenanigans have happened in the main. Is there that
Well,
DT in
yeah.
production? There it is.
Here come the Hydras. They're going to be coming up the ramp, and they'll deal with that pretty shortly.
Well, I mean, there's still gonna be a DT popping out, but man, imagine if you didn't delay that Templar Archives, like you just really rush for it.
Oh,
Like,
I know. He would have had
really
it.
funny. Well, it's gonna take some damage. We'll kill the gateway, but the first DT goes out. The Overlord is right here though, so not gonna be able to sneak anything over the detection.
Ooh, moves immediately to the right to evade detection. Really slick, but realistically going to get done with this one DT.
I mean, it took damage. You know it's there. So we'll see. You still have this weak front, though. That's kind of the other problem. Storm just being started, but, like, you're not building up a lot of army here as Protoss. And Tade, like, they still have the choice here of what they want to do, but they have not been making drones at all. It's going to be a little bit difficult here, taking some damage from the Zealot at the natural.
That Zealot at the natural with 6 kills on it.
The DT in the main swooping on it, and there's nothing even here to kill, but it's still alive.
Okay, well, let's take stock of where we're at. Some additional gateways for Lana. Got that Templar Archive tech coming out. Storm halfway done. An extra cannon. Is that enough cannons, do you think?
It's still a little bit dicey here because you don't have Storm ready, but you got the threat of the High Templar. Like, if you don't know your opponent's timing because you didn't have an Overlord in the main, you gotta play a little more careful. But still, decent amount of Zealots here. You've done a lot of damage, so you just hold on. That DT in the main still just hanging out. It's still around. So Tade gonna start replenishing drones. So the focus on the attack as like Storm is about to actually hit the field. It looks like Tade is gonna back off here. So. Yeah, I think it's gonna be up to Lana now. Like, I think you got through this whole point. You're in a good spot here, especially off the Zerg drone count being so low. They gotta bail out of this like pretty dedicated attack and figure out what their next plan's gonna be. I mean, they got the lair done. They can go into Lurker Tech. Well, I still hasn't started a Robo, so yeah, have to worry about that at least.
Good little surprise. Storm right out the bat at the natural. And Lana's gonna go ahead and decide to take the engagement. Nope, backs off. Yep, too many Hydras. I like that.
Hey, you don't need to rush anything right now because you just give him that false sense of comfort. That DT, man, I wanted to not have 0 kills. I want to die with more kills than 0. I'm gonna keep just an eye on it.
It should stay there until it gets the play. It should.
Might as well. Tade is gonna back off everything but from back at home. You know, maybe the threat of Zell's kind of poking around, or just want to make sure if there's something happening, you could be able to defend it. But you can see that drone count really shot back up here after taking a break from making units, but this gives Lana a big opportunity to power up with a lot of buildings and macro back at home. Basically think they're going to stay on 2 base for a while, really kind of get up like that kind of death army, and maybe stop Tade from taking a 4th, or just force a lot of defense over at the 3rd, which still no Lurker Tech. That could definitely be a problem as this gateway army gets stronger.
Yeah, and check out Tade's response to this. We see a lot of sunken colonies going down. A few at the natural, a few at the 3rd.
No, nothing morphed yet at the 3rd, but yeah, there is the move out. Lots of Zealots here. Adding in Archon just for flavor, but only the 1 High Templar. It's got enough energy for 1 Storm. The Blind Archon I'm not really in love with as much as, you know, some people. I know they like it, but if you end up hitting into Lurkers, like, you need those Storms, otherwise you would have nothing. Now, we know it's not a threat, but still, you know, I think it's kind of a little needless risk. But, hey, you're showing with the damage here. 3 Sunk is going to do a lot, and that's a nice little choke point. Where's that Templar?
No, I don't like this fight for Protoss. That's just too much to deal with the Sunkens here.
Yeah, unfortunately, with no triggers to help you break through the defense, that Storm was too late, and honestly too little. Only just the 1 going down. Another Templar going to go through, but a lot of Zealots have already died at this point. But still, look at the...
check out that DT you were following.
Yeah, I missed it entirely. I was like, so look at the supply. How the hell? Like, Lon just lost his lunch, but that explains everything. This DT just...
There's a lot going on.
Just
in this
the
game.
worst. And like now, that's Tade. Like, what are you gonna do? If you replenish all your drones, like Lana's in full power mode with his army, and you even have like a couple Hydras just kind of venturing off into the map. It's gonna be very hard to like keep everything managed. You still have to find that DT to just like obliterate your main, which with a bunch of drones being made, that means the defense is kind of low here. I think like you got goon range, you're working on more upgrades. You just like a round or 2 of a lot of goons, you can start pushing through, force some pressure at the 3rd, or just go through the natural. Honestly, still like there's no splash damage. Didn't remake any of these Sunkens. This is gonna be very hard for Tade to hold off.
Captain, I'm sorry to report that our hero DT has fallen, but has accrued 15 kills.
It just killed it and then immediately taps out. Still, that DT did so much damage, and the defense of the 3-hatch Hydra. That's going to give Lana a first game lead, and looked very strong here. It's still crazy to me. Like, you watch some of these players, if you've been around in CPL for a couple seasons, like, Lana's Eye used to be a tier 3 player. I remember when they made all these mistakes, and it's like, wait, when did you get so good? When did this happen?
We're all growing up.
Oh, not me. I'm going to be a tier 2 player forever. Mainly because I just don't play that much anymore. Someone's got to be bad, otherwise. Cast, if I'm going to do something StarCraft adjacent, I'd rather watch or cast.
That's fair. It is a spectator sport.
Yeah. I mean, so we're in our second map on Eclipse. Going to be a good one. So sometimes there's shenanigans here. We'll see, though. In the top right, in that blue Protoss, Lana's hot. In the bottom left, in the teal Zerg, it's Tade. Lana saying it was never tier 3. In your first preseason, you were tested in tier 3 because like I can see all stuff with staff, and I avidly remember that. Now, the way that first game went, like you're fortunate enough, you went 9 pool, you had the shortest distance possible. The defense was still like razor thin, that but it was defended. I don't want to see Tade do the 9 pool again. Like, you want to do 3-hatch Hydra, I think that's okay if you really want to go for it. But the 9 pool, I think, go over pool, do something a little bit more solid, as like you don't put yourself in kind of a weird spot if like nothing happens.
Now, as a Zerg player, and this is just my personal opinion, I think the opening for this map is just over pool if you're versus Protoss.
Yeah, I think it'd be really. Like, the pros would be so greedy for like a 9 pool to get there in time to do anything, because it's such a long distance across the map. And there's also the chance of like, where are my proxy gates? There's plenty of good locations, so I think hatch can also be very dangerous. And I'm pretty sure you can rush this bottom side location too if you really want to.
Okay, so this was an over pool opening, and we have the right amount of drones coming out. The probe comes in, and there shouldn't be any way for Protoss to actually effectively harass. And Tade gets kind of the middle-of-the-road economic build.
Yeah, I mean, still, you're getting the knowledge of like what's going on. If that probe can at least get an idea how many lings are made, if you can go Nexus before can, always feels good. Got a little extra time as well.
Oh, so absolutely.
We'll see what Lana wants to end up doing here. Just kind of building up back at home. Pro really just wants to get a little bit of info. And this pylon block in the natural, I never like it. It just, like, you're actually going to let it finish? Nah, probably not. It's just, like, kind of just investing. That could have been, like, your faster Nexus.
Well, it finished.
Oh, no. Actually finishing. It could have forced things to happen, but... Oh, that slows things down. Now, see, look, like, you got this pilot. Now you got to get this can because, like, you need it. So you're just delaying this next ton, which means you delay the gateway. It's just I don't like this. I like gas steals, I like mana pylons, but it's just not in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. This feels kind of Joker-ish. Like, haha, I'm poking fun at you a little bit. And now we see another late Nexus, so that's 2 games in a row. But maybe this is just, part of the flavor of Lana is hot,
No, I mean, Lana's in the chat, they can defend himself all they want, but I see that probe immediately hiding the man again. It's like, ooh, you think you're going to get away with it again? Never. It's never going to happen. Third hatchery goes down, though. You can see things did get slowed down. Like, look at this point. Third hatchery started. Gateway hasn't even been started. So you can see everything really definitely getting slowed down. Actually getting the gas now, which is good at least, but you can see, like, also you would need to build your second pylon soon in the main, so like, you have more spot for your other buildings. Just... it really throws things off more than you think it's going to.
That's a lot of lings. Where are we going here?
That is a lot of lings, and maybe Tade thinking the same thing I was just talking about. It's like, if you actually let that pylon finish, it does slow things down pretty responsibly. Look, having to make 3 cannons here. If you're looking at this from Tade's point of view, you scout that, you see that many cannons, don't go Hydras, go Lair. Like, you're not under threat for a while. Like, this is, if Tade scouts this properly, they have a great spot for this. Getting distracted, though, by another scouting probe trying to go out and get some information.
Oh my goodness, I'd maybe send 1 or 2. Yeah, there we go.
Where's that next pylon?
Okay, so all the cannons are up. And with 3 cannons, I don't think this is a good move to move in. So Tade should probably poke in, see it, and then back off.
Yeah, but I mean, just you know how these games usually look. You've seen it plenty of times. That pylon just starting in the main. That means the cyber core has not started yet, and it won't for a while. Like this, this is kind of getting a little out of hand really quickly here. Tade though doesn't care. Still making Hydra Den anyway. With all the tech
The
being
cyber
delayed.
core's in the mat.
Oh, actually, ugh. Is what it is. I mean, like, not the end of the world. But getting the scouting info, sees that is the Hydra Den on the way. Probe count for Tade looks similar to what we saw last game, but Lana's definitely got a little bit stunted from the delayed Nexus, and I think just trying to rearrange that money, like just things getting a little bit out of order, causing a little chaos. And look at this, a second gateway in the main coming up a little quicker than we saw last time. So curious where the tech's going to go from here. But you did see the Hydra Den, so you know if you want to go right to that Citadel, you should be reasonably comfortable to do so. I would just love Tade to be like, it's a fake, and just not do anything.
It's another Citadel first as a tech choice as well. I really have an appreciation for Lana's play. It is spectacularly unique.
Yeah, I mean, so far definitely looking that way. I don't know if it's like unique by design. Some of these might just be it's trying to deal with what things happen. It's kind of it's like, oh no, it just it just didn't work out the way I was planning, which it happens to the best of us. Is absolutely no problem here though. Citadel about to finish up as well as Link Speed already like on the way. Hydra upgrades not really around, so like we're getting the Hydra movement, but I don't see like a lot of Hydras being made just yet. Another hatchery being made. So, ooh, we might be getting that like 5 hatchery before a lair really kind of get your economy going pretty strong.
Yeah, and that could result in a really strong macro engine that pumps out a ton of Hydras. And right now, Lana doesn't really have any information, but has one Zealot up at the tippy top of the map moving in.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get in there and cause a little bit of harass, it won't be too bad here. But, Link Speed is done. Should be able to reinforce reasonably well, which he's even sunk it over at that third, like ready for his little cute counterattack. Because we saw it in the last game as well. But, it's just going to be a lot harder, I think, for Lana to get any kind of big damage like we saw last time. Because even if, like, the plan is to power back up on 2 bases, which worked out well, it's just your opponent is going to have a lot more freedom to defend as much as they want to. If they want to really drone up now, they definitely have a window to do so. And you can see even the work count at the moment, about even between 2 players, really not the spot you're looking to be in. Tade investing in these hatcheries, still no tech to be found, like no lair on the way yet, but we'll see. Like it's like you have to get it eventually though. You don't want to be like caught like still at this tech when like storms are done, they're moving out on this 2 base power.
Yeah, correct. That will have to be taken. Okay, and the Zealots, 4 Zealot move out in the middle of the map, pushing the Zerglings back. And what do we have the rest for Tade? 3 more Hydralisks. Starting to produce a few more, getting the range upgrade. But we have a nice sizable move out from Lana, which has +1 in addition to speed.
Yeah, a little scarier here. Tade's got to respect this, but Hydras were already being made. There's a little bit of sunkets, but they're in a pretty good spot. It can be hard to attack through. Does Lana want to ignore it and just go for some damage? You can see actually running past it straight into the main. And there's not going to be a lot of defense here. This is interesting. I'm not sure how this pans out, but it's interesting.
We'll see if it pays off. The trade here is that the Zealots get to take a lot of free hits. But now they get into the basin. As you just said, it's not defended very well.
And it's also just a free scouting information. You get past the natural in the main, no lair. No maniac would put it at their third. So it's like you don't have to deal with any kind of lair tech for a while. You can skip your robo. You don't have to worry about like fast overlord. So like it forces a little bit of action here. Tade, having to stop mining from the main a little bit, takes a little bit of damage. You're trading off Zealots as you're adding on gateways anyway. Buys time for that storm to get started, and DT's being made. Maybe a big chance to get some harassment as the second group of the Goon Squad moves out into the field.
Yeah, cool. And they're going to probably meet up with this other separate Goon Squad of Hydralisks, and a clash fight breaks out.
Yeah, I don't mind the Zealots here, though. Like, it's unupgraded Hydras. They got their Hydra upgrades, but they're still 0-0, and these guys, they're fast, and they're still pretty strong. And you can see Tade gonna have to repel back here, just keeping everything kind of back and forth. But Tade's drone count very strong. Found a good opportunity to get some drones in after that attack. So if Lana gears up for something pretty strong when Storm finishes, it could be pretty intimidating. You can see already making a couple Templars and backing up that energy. But until then here, like Toddy's got a window. If they, Lair's going to finish up soon. They're adding on their units, and we'll see what they end up doing here. Lana actually not really trying to power up. Actually going to just use this map pressure to try to get a third base online.
Well, we do see a lot of gas being spent, lots of High Templars in production. That's fantastic. 2 upgrades along the way as well. That's going to push the later stages of the army. It's going to make it a lot more robust.
It should, absolutely here. Overlord is going to find his third base. I think they actually saw the pro move out to take it, so, you're not going to be totally caught aware. Toddy's going to move out here. Lana not trying to engage these Hydras. They're in a conga line. Maybe don't want to be in that kind of weird position, but going to have to retreat back home. The Templar are a little bit out of position. There should be some cannons made, and they got 1 storm up at the top of the ramp. Let's see if Toddy really wants to commit to this. Oh, Templar's free for the picking here. Going to take a storm. Does kill 1 off, and that buys time for these Zealots to get involved.
Cool. So this fight breaks out, and this should be easy for Protoss to just sweep over the map, so we'll see what Toddy decides to do after that. It looks like he wants to try and reinforce and actually take this fight.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that that group was coming from the third and didn't actually come together anyway. I thought that was going to be the move, but maybe miss rally from when they got made, not really worrying about it so much. Not that many Zealots here, but plenty of Templar. This could be a good opportunity to reset everything, but the storms are super
the storms.
good.
So, if we stabilize from here, and Lana can get this third base rolling, I think that'll tip the scales a little bit more towards that even state, because I felt like Zerg had a pretty good lead for the first half of this game.
Well, you still got to keep in mind that Tade drone count never really fell off away. This looks like they're just trying to sneak a drone over to that 9 o'clock to get their 4th base online. And they got plenty of hatcheries and larvae. Actually, having trouble spending the money as Lurker Tech is starting to go on the way. Lana's is going to move out here, but it's not like they have a lot of goons to help bust through these stacked defense and these buildings to kind of make the attack a little easier. So as long as they wait for the Templar, it shouldn't be so bad. They got 1 here, but it doesn't have a storm just yet, so maybe pooling up resources, get ready to attack soon. They're going to have to hit before Lurkers are available. They got a decent amount of time, and still no Robo.
These
either.
Lurkers. I mean, Hydralisks, the sneaking by. Sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah, I know. If La sees this, though, you don't want them not there. That's a lot to just not have. You see immediately turn around. Toddy's going to try to come back and help defend this. These goons going to work on that first sunken. Hasn't taken the big damage yet, and Hydra's from the side going to get a good angle here. 1 storm. It's okay. It's okay at best. It's not really doing the job. No Zealots here to kind of meat shield this, and Tade coming from 2 sides here for the cost of a sunken kills off the entire Protoss army, actually up in supply after it.
Oh, I knew I was concerned about the lack of storm for a good reason. This is exactly what happens when you don't have enough.
Well, it's the Zealots too. Goons are great going through, but when you don't have Zealots to kind of tie up the Hydras and make it easy, they just came from the side, just melted through those years. So much easier.
Oh, for sure. Good point.
Yeah. And now, look where we're at here. Tade's Lurker aspect is finished. They can start making them whenever. And Robo's just being started, so Observers are a little bit away. But Tade's got that control right outside that natural. Going to be able to start splitting off some damage towards the 3rd if they want to. A little bit of a rally from Lana trying to fight back in this. But there's a lot of Hydras here. Tade easily should want to take this fight. Going to repel it back without any issues.
Okay, so this should push Lana back into his base, and if Lurker Tech is done, which I think it is, correct, we should see a contain start to form outside here, which could be really problematic.
Yeah, the one bad thing, no Overlords immediately in the area, so this DT going to start putting in the work. Let's see, is there one you can fly on over? Doesn't seem that way. Can's actually doing a pretty good job, but the DT really going to work. Still, it's a lot of Hydras. 4 kills for the DT. Finally, some vision goes through. Going to shut this down. And Tade still has their foot on the pedal. Macro falling apart a little bit here. 18 Hydras on the way. I think they're trying to really bust through here, see if they get some damage done. And they got that 4th base online that I was talking about. That hatchery's done. Not saturated yet, but still in a pretty good spot.
Phenomenal macro. I actually underestimated the amount of Hydras that Tade had. This is really spectacular play, puncturing the natural like that.
Of course you'd say like it's spectacular. He's throwing hydras at him. It's exquisite.
A move. SH, A move. Look how beautiful it is.
Yeah, it's a rough spot here when you're trying to like replenish. You don't have time to get your storm energy. The cans all go down up to natural here. Not trying to make a move towards third. There's storm. There's plenty of cans. So you know I think going for a natural seems to make sense. And there's that lurker. Observatory not done yet. So, the observers eventually, but not quite yet. Still reinforcing its attack further, though. You can see that supply. Zerg back ahead. Never what you want to see here. As long as you can hold on, it won't be so bad, but Tade doesn't look like they're trying to take this game to, like, high tech or anything like that. Just really, you guys keep trying to muscle through, and slowly they're breaking through.
No, and with this huge wave of reinforcements coming in, I gotta think this might be putting the nail in the coffin, so to speak. This looks like an unstoppable push of Zerg.
Oh, there's one Hydra from behind. Don't get picked off. You got so many storms. Cast them, please. Only gets one off, and it wasn't that great, unfortunately. Yeah, this is just so many Hydra going through. Lurker's even going to start leapfrogging. It's like the Observer's going to be here, but what's going to be the army to help you fight through? Trying to make cans, but no, there's no way they ever survive.
Yeah.
The Templar getting caught. Barely so. Turns around, does survive, but like one good storm and a couple zells are not going to be enough to carry you through this. Tade in the main now, and it's just going to be doing too much damage.
Well, that was a good storm that took out 2 lurkers, but yeah, this is just too much Zerg here. I think we'll probably end up seeing a GG pretty shortly.
It feels that way. That should give Tade a lot of confidence. There's that GG, like you're saying. And our first series night is going to actually go to that game 3. But, like, after that first game, it's like, all right, things didn't go great. It didn't go well. But Tade, like, you know, once they got into the groove, focusing more on getting drones and kind of getting their macro going, it's much more comfortable in game 2. So curious to see what the opener are going to be. Our third map, another good one for some macro, Polypoid, will be the decider of our first set of the night.
Good feels about Polypoid.
Yeah, I'm over it, but it's a good map. Like it's.
I adore Polypoid. It's so good.
It's fine.
It'll never get old.
It's fine. No, that's how I feel about Fighting Spirit. I could play that one. It's fine. Well, it's
Fighting
fine.
Spirit's icky. We don't play that map.
Yeah, I'm a truther. It's fine. You guys don't want to hear my truth, but you need to hear it. We're going into game 3, though. Line's hot for 2 Fact 2 Furious. Tade for Lettuce Attack. We'll see who's going to get the first score on the board after this game. Over at Polypoid. Nope. In the bottom left, in the brown Zerg, it's Tade. In the top left, in the red Protoss, it's Line's hot.
Take a moment. Readjust. Recalibrate. Very good. All right, where were we? Colors. Wow, I love brown on Zerg.
It's fine. It's pretty good. Get that nice earthy feel for all these flying bugs.
Yeah, it looks menacing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can go with that. It just looks like they belong here. Like Protoss is invading their planet right now on Polypoid. It's like, no, this is our home. Look at the camouflage. It blend in with the dirt.
I could get behind that.
And another pylon to the media scout. Looks like Lana's hot. Very comfortable with the Forge opening. We're gonna see it all 3 games. It looks like, and tables have turned. Tade is bad luck with the Overlord. Lana's hot getting the first scout available.
Boy, it's funny how that works, huh?
I'm just saying, if smart players pick Protoss, smart players are really good at rock, paper, scissors. So you choose one out of 3.
Okay.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. Tade did learn from game 1, though. We get another pool opening, and at first scout gets to see everything that's going on here. We'll see like where you want to go from here. I think Lana's hot, though. You know, hopefully just not that pylon in the natural again. Like, just kind of go to your normal game plan, because you got to think about how these games went. Like, Lana played what they wanted to do, and game 1 went great. Things got a little bit off the rails in game 2, and it really snowballed. So you don't need to do any kind of gimmicks. Like, you looked good. Like, you don't have to do anything crazy. And you can see, you can just be annoying with the probe, try to delay the hatchery, stuff like that. Right now, not doing anything. Pylon goes down, see if it gets canceled this time.
Yeah, we'll actually see if he commits to it. I'd be very surprised to see him commit to it knowing that the pool is right there ready to pop.
I mean, that's the biggest thing why I don't like it. Like on a concept level, the Forge is done, no cans started, and it's okay. We are going to get the quick Nexus here, which like, yeah, that pilot was canceled this time, so making the adjustments. That probe no longer in the base, so it's not seeing how many lings are being made. Which when you get 6 here, you got to be a little bit careful. That can't still not start, and a drone sees that.
Okay, so far we have 4 Zerglings. It looks like they're going to bypass... No, they're, as I say that, they go right for the probe. Get the pick, though, which is really important.
Yeah, and also that probe did only see the 4 lings and it died before the 2 more came down. But 2 cans blind. Like, Lana doesn't want to take any risk. Just get into a spot where you're not feeling too bad there over the mid game, and immediately sends out the second probe trying to get some more scouting info. Lings did not go on the map, so maybe they can defend this, but you get there in time, you'll see his third hatcher going up. It's what you're expecting to see, so it's not any kind of big revelation. But if you keep this probe alive, maybe get in the main, that'd be pretty good here. Doesn't lose it, but not
gets
getting
fenced off.
Yet. Yeah, not getting in just yet. And no gateway yet either.
Alright, so we're just now taking our gas for Protoss. There's the gateway you're looking for. Back over down. Just 6 Zerglings. Gonna go ahead and be used to block. Alright. You could play mind games with Protoss this way by denying so heavily access to the ramp for the main.
I mean, so the probe is like trying to get in, so it's not like if you were outside the natural, you could stop the probe moving out. You still it's alive. So I think this isn't like a bad idea to be forward to try to deny some kind of information here.
No. I was just like walking through it and trying to digest it, and I think I figured it out. It's actually quite brilliant. That's my favorite word tonight. Brilliant.
Forte turning British before our eyes.
What?
No, absolutely not. A veto that right now. Absolutely not. Cybercore going down. No decision on what Tade's doing just yet. That's no hatchery, no Hydra Den, no lair star just yet. A lot of drones being made. This is already different than what we saw last game. We already saw a commitment to the Hydra Den. I think with less drones than what we have. So, Tade maybe trying to play a little more macro game. Wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being that, like, delayed the lair go up to the 5 hatch star we saw in game 2. I mean, it worked out well. Why would you change it? And the fact he's still back at home guarding, like, you're kind of selling maybe this is Hydra's. Like, you might be able to get like a free overreaction, but still just no commitment yet from Tade.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen either a Hydraless Den a little bit ago or a layer started a little bit ago.
Oh no!
Now
the pro goes through as Zealots are causing a little bit of chaos over to third. The pro's gonna get all this scouting info. Causing just a little bit of chaos here, but this probe sees that there's nothing. Like, no lair, no Hydra Den, and a hatchery goes down at the natural after the probe dies. So, maybe that was like the move, and a lot of drones into a Hydra Den. So Tade, I think, playing very similar to the game we saw before, delay the tech just to get the larva and get everything rolling into place, and another Citadel first from Lana. I love Citadel first, so I have no problem with this. But I'm curious if it's going to be like what we saw in Game 2, where it's just like, I'm going up to a third base quickly if I can. Because you saw no Hydra Den, you're not under an immediate threat. Or you could have the time to power up and get a lot of gateways going and like plan for a nice big attack before all that tech is actually finished. So,
correct. The ball really is in Lana's court right now. Whatever they feel like doing is what they can do. They want to tech up, they can do that without any pressure. They want to mass up, power up, they can do that. Taking third, I think they could probably get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, see a couple gateways getting added on, so no commitment, I think, either way just yet. Zealot speed on the way. Speed Zealots definitely can put in a lot of work, and +1's pretty far along at this point. And, like, you're already feeling just great here. It's like you haven't had to make more cans. Like, you're not been under any kind of threat. As long as you can keep your opponent in some kind of reasonable control. Significantly faster layer this game from Tade. And still, I think, only have 4 hatcheries at this point.
Yeah, we should probably see a 5th for the fullest extent of harvesting from 3 bases, if you have good saturation, that is.
Tempo Archives, so... I think both players, kind of getting into the groove, but Lana hasn't. We see like the elite either success or the attempts of her kind of harassing, messing with the opponent a little bit in the mid game. And as these first group of Zealots pool up here, I think once speed +1 finishes, that'll be the move. See how much damage they can actually get done. It's going to be a little bit hard going for the third here. I think these two hatcheries going to kind of make it a little hard to get towards that sunken. That's hidden pretty nicely behind that Overlord. So SimCity is not like amazing to guard these sunkens, but I think it's just still the lanes are going to get clogged up, and it could be a little bit tricky here. A lot is moving out though, about to finish speed, finish the +1, and let's see if Tade. I don't think they saw any kind of move out here. Is one sunken going to be enough? I highly doubt it.
Now, Lana needs to make something work here because the two hatcheries are popping now, right? So that brings Tade up to 6. That overclocks Zerg a little bit and will start churning out mad amounts of Hydra, which Lana will need units to deal with.
That was a beautiful move, though, from Tade. Buying a lot of time, just stopping the drones, making it hard to get to that sunken. So they stayed alive longer than you would think. Tade gets to reinforce with some Hydras. And Lana did some damage here, but you can see that that drone count's not, like, terribly falling off. So a lot of Hydras stayed alive as well. And you eliminated the Zealot Force here. And look at Lana. Like, didn't add on more gateways. Didn't start that third either. So, you know, you're kind of resetting some of the pressure, but you don't have a whole lot to speak for it after this. I think Tade's going to take control of the map moving forward with these Hydras, and there hasn't been a lot of cannons up at the front. Maybe you can get some pressure going. Storm's not done yet, but already Templar's made to bank some energy. And look, immediately move to the third. Lana did take one, but I like the idea. The idea is good.
Now, see, we got these two groups of Hydras coalescing, and then there'll be more behind that once those Overlords pop. And this is kind of what I was talking about before. Like, Lana just doesn't really have the units to have a presence on the map now. And that economy from Zerg that's going to pump out of 6 hatches, ooh, the Hydra Force is going to hit the map hard.
I know it's something I've struggled with a lot, and you see it a lot, especially if you watch some of the CPL PVZs. Those first group of Zealots you sent out for the attack, you don't want to just throw them away. It feels like they're so expendable. It's just Zealots. It's just 600 like minerals of Zealots. Like, it's okay, I can lose them. It's just 800. It's like, it's not that bad. But it's time. It's the time because you don't have a lot of gateways turn just yet. You can see Tade like gets to kind of build back up here. The drone count's looking healthy again. The units between the two is even, and because the lair is done, like, you start working towards lurkers. Lana does have Storm done. Got some Templars kind of working up here, working towards that goon range as well, and a much faster Robo this game. So learning from the mistakes of game 2, and with a lot of gateways being made back at home, looks like they're going to power up into base. Tade is going to move forward and just get an idea what is going on here.
Okay, he's going to decide to bring the rest of the troops up, so it looks like we might have ourselves a first engagement here.
We got some Stormers to work with, doing a decent job so far, trying to control the high ground as well, but not that many Zealots, and they go down pretty quickly. You're going to lose these Templar because of this move out now. Tade is going to be able to move forward. Can he kill all the Templar? He can, and there's a lot of transition to Goons. Now you don't have any Zealots to kind of help out here. Goons are not bad in this kind of situation, but there's just no splash damage, and moving forward towards these cannons, these Hydras going to be able to do some pretty good damage. One DT pops out, but the Overlord is here to get the detection going. And only one cannon left, now dead at this point. No units available for Lana, and Tade just going to power through the natural again. Reinforce is going to show up as well.
Boy, this is... oh, jeez. The gears turning for the 6-hatch Hydra is very formidable and needs to be respected, and I don't feel like we met that level of respect here. There needs to be a lot of additional Storm out on the field to be able to contend with this.
DT did survive, tried to sneak into the natural, get some counterattack damage, but detection was by sunk, and that DT got nothing done except seeing reinforcements go through for Tade. The stuff that wasn't natural did get cleaned up, but here comes wave 2. Can's about to finish. Can they actually finish and kind of hold this off? Zealots are coming out of the gateways as well. Lana does have a good amount of production, so you know Tade might have to back off a little bit here, but still they're in a great spot with what they've done so far. And so all you gotta do is just not overcommit. Lurker's gonna start working away. Cans just do not have the time.
I really like this. I like the boldness from Tade. He really knows how to take a situation like this and really commit to it.
Yeah, it's so hard here because like you don't have time to get your Templar to get your Storms ready, and so you got to choose like, is it going to be a Zealots are going to help me out? It's too many Lurkers throw up. That's not really the path you want to go down either. You can see 1,500 in production. You know, again, slightly kind of getting things off, but Lana's just playing damage control, trying to survive at this point. Tade's got all the time in the world to do whatever they're looking for at this point. Here comes the reinforcements. A couple cannons behind, but not the main ground units. You can see the macro, like the minerals trying to pull up, maybe lengths, but I was thinking actually to like start hatchery at 4th base. If this doesn't work, you'll set yourself up for a lot of success here as Tade.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'd really like to see this lead be translated into a 4th base to secure that lead.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of Hydras moving through. I think his lead's going to be converted into a victory the way this is going so far. There is a drone over at the 3 o'clock, so, you know, that could be eventually. But just, even at this point, like, even if you don't go through, like, you don't go through naturally, you're not trying to put any pressure on, with the cannons back there, like, you have to go down this ramp into this choke. You can set up, like, lurkers in the most obnoxious way possible. Even Tade trying to get vision around the map as they're fighting over this pylon here. Storm's not doing as much as you would like here, but still, Tade, I think, just in firm control. Send another drone to the bottom right, maybe finally take that 4th base.
What's the next decision going to be? We got a couple more Hydras in production. Again, no 4th base on the way for Tade just yet, and we have a lot of available larvae, no additional tech. I mean, kind of stalling out here and really focusing on the front lines.
Well, the storms just got depleted as well, so the move out from Lana's Hot maybe a little premature. He used a lot of storms on defense, so just didn't have the splash damage available. All the 10 bars get reset again here. Tade's not really trying to jam out a bunch of units at this point, though. Adding on a couple hatcheries, finally base being taken over to 3 and over at the 5, so at this point, even if like this doesn't hold and eventually Lana could break out here, you're going to be up to 5 bases in a really good spot. Well, Lana's Hot, look at the main. Like, that probe count is like not as healthy as you'd want it to be if you're planning to take a 3rd sometime soon. These 2 bases are going to run out of minerals sooner rather than later.
Oh, it looks like this natural nexus is going to get sniped. If that goes down, that seals the deal, in my opinion.
Rough. Just did enough damage here. Lana's army is going up, and now they're supply blocked from losing the nexus as well. So, you know, Tade, retreat back to the high ground. Just buy yourself a little bit of time. Lurkers are going to burrow as well. There is an observer here, but still, it's just enough units here. Even if you don't kill everything off, like you're killing off the zealots, you're going to make that push so much harder to do because goons alone can't do it. And trades off his units, still in a pretty good spot here. Tade making a lot of units as much as they can, adding on some hatcheries. So over on that right side, they're going to finish up soon. And I wonder if Lana's like feeling desperate. It's like, I got to go try to do this. They're actually going to remake the Nexus at the natural instead and maybe try to stabilize. I'm not sure how much I love that given how much money's actually at the natural. Like, it's you know, it's worth taking, but it's not great.
It might not matter. At one point I saw the production tab flashed 18 Hydras in production, so we're going to see another huge Zerg wave here. And Lana needs to find a way to defend this, or that will probably be game.
Well, I mean, you're going to see it right here. A couple Hydras coming from behind. There's not that many Zealots left. No splash damage to speak of because of the Templars being lost. And I think this is going to be too much here. Ends up being that way. Tade going to be taking game 3 and puts the first score on the board here for Team Lettuce Attack. Doing a great job.
Brilliant!
No. But it was great play from both players, though. Good way to start off our series tonight, so I have no problem watching a game like that. My heart does break a little bit every time, you know, PvZ. It hurts. But still, great play from both players. Tade definitely deserving of the victory they got. Gonna move to our second set of the night, the TBT. We gotta get it done. It's gotta happen sometimes. Hey, TBT and CPL a lot of times has been pretty fun. As much as I want to joke about the matchups, you know, sometimes you see some really interesting stuff. So we'll see what these players want to do. We got SVA 3 for 2 Fact 2 Furious, and we got Javier for Lettuce Attack. I've really seen a decent amount of Javier games recently, I feel like, when I cast, but I feel like he's always playing against Zerg, so we'll see what kind of TBT he's got for us.
I know SVA was on my team last season on Flying SCVs. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, both these players have seen them. I haven't seen them in this matchup, so we'll see if they got the patience, if they got the awareness to do what they need to do. But we'll go into it. Did they play top versus bottom? They did. That'll make our lives a little easier. In the top left, in the blue Terran, it's SVA 3 for Team 2 Fact 2 Furious. In the bottom right, in the red Terran, it's Javier for Lettuce Attack.
What can you tell me about Javier?
Well, he plays a little aggressive in TBZ. So for TBT, I got no idea. But all I can tell you about my experiences watching TBT is I'm a magnet for people doing something reasonably interesting, right? It's like I tend to draw. Someone wants to do the 3-fact vulture. Someone wants to do starport stuff. Someone's gonna be the first guy going to race, or like they go bow cruises and the blind loses his shit. But we'll see what we're going through here. It is good night 4-player map, and this can be a very hard map to play TVT as the game gets longer. That base in the center really can cause a lot of problems, and if you lose control of some of the positioning here with like there's just wide high ground ridge, like tank lines could just be very difficult to deal with. I think when I see later game TVTs here end up going into a lot of drops and things. So we'll see where these players want to go, if they're tending to take it into the later game, or if you want to do something a little more aggressive to not worry about it so much. I think you're at tier 1, you're at the finals. It's not like you're playing TVT in a ladder game, you're just not in the mood. Hopefully these guys take it nice and seriously. So far though, SVA, their build looks like it's a little bit more ahead, getting that gas a little faster, but none of that's going to really lead to anything. It's not like you can do massive damage early outside. Vultures like getting a little advantage or sneaking in if your opponent's being a little greedy.
I think you'd be surprised. That's a serious advantage in my opinion. If you can play to a particular crispness and get vultures out first and do something like a 3-fact vulture build, if your factory's earlier than theirs and you get your vultures out before them, game's over.
I mean, it depends. The margin we're talking about with that refinery is like there is the defender's advantage, but getting map control, like it can always be a bit of a problem. It's just also going to depend. Like, I don't think the vulture control of the map means as much if like Havior, for example, was planning to be defensive anyway. Like that's not going to be the unit to kind of really open up the game for you. And if like you invest in something like that and then you don't make use of the map control, like we'll see what these players do. Like I said, haven't seen either of them play the TV2. I know how they play a little bit in other matchups, so hopefully that translates to something with a little more action to a little starport play would be fun. But at the moment, we're not seeing anything too weird. 2 guys in gas staying for SVA. Havior only keeping the 1, so looking like Havior at least for sure should be planning to expand. I think SVA that also indicates an expand, but an indication to get a starport afterwards reasonably soon, or just like get their tech going.
Yeah, pretty interesting. All right, let's see. What do we have? 1 in gas for red, Havior, and 1 in gas as well for SVA.
Well, look at the 6 o'clock base.
Oh,
that two and clocking the gas. It's already led to what it wants to get done. Proxy start port. You can just go play StarCraft 2 anytime you want. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. Rays are not nearly as good as the stuff you'll see in that game instead, but still to be determined if it's going to be for like a fast on-site drop, or will it be like the Rays going through investing in Cloak, or just forcing some anti-air. You got a lot of kind of choices here, so SVA though wants to take the initiative.
I was just about to suggest close drop. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. It's probably what this will end up being. We'll see if he adds a control tower. Nope, gonna be Wraiths, Caster's Curse.
You gotta stay vague. When you're vague, you're never wrong.
Nope, I like to throw darts. I like to throw darts at the board.
Are you good at darts, though, is the question.
I am okay relative to my level, relative to how much alcohol I've consumed.
Reasonable enough, and look at these vultures. Even at low health, managed to do something. Starts delaying that command center a little bit here. Havior, only with the 1 vulture, can't go through. SVA has 3rd one on the way, so really putting a lot of pressure here. And when that Wraith rolls through, it's like, where's your anti-air going to be? The Marines already died trying to help defend against this. Again, that CC getting really delayed here, and that's going to buy time for SVA to start their own CC. I like the way he's playing so far. Very big initiative, and that Wraith just going to fly on in and start picking off SCVs eventually. Oh, a couple will die at some point. It's going to take a while. It's no big deal.
It's kind of too bad that proxy starport isn't blinking to make more Wraiths. This is actually a really good surprise. Kind of catching the opponent with the pants down.
Well, I think look at what we're seeing from SVA, though. Like, wanted to get that that CC started. You see it's another factory being added as well, keeping up the vulture production. I think they realized, like, Havier's production from trying to get the CC as quickly as it did is kind of a little bit behind the ball, so maybe really trying to lean to that instead. Gets on end, sees an army being made, which did not finish, so still definitely delaying this anti-air that could come forward for quite a while at this point. But all things considered, look at Havior. Like, worker supply, Havior definitely fell down a little bit here, taking some damage. And, like, there's a different little tech lead that we see from SVA. So, I don't know. If we're going from here, though, like, I like what we're seeing. SVA adding on these more factories. Hasn't got a machine shop to start getting their upgrades yet, but just everything we've seen so far looking pretty good. There's this Wraith, and it's killed 3 things. Jesus Christ, unit is so bad.
Another one's about to pop out of that starport too, so it looks like SVA decided, yeah, we can actually make something work here with Wraiths.
I mean, the army did finish, so not gonna lie, will be an option, but that does mean no tanks. It does mean less vultures as well. So, again, if you're just trying to buy yourself time to get set up the way you want to, everything about what we're seeing from SVA is doing a great job. Just delaying everything that possibly. Ooh, actually even landed the racks, making Marines on site. Awesome.
Oh, you love to see it. SVA is playing a wonderful game here.
I like what we're seeing from Havior here too, though. Like, deciding, he's like, all right, like these vultures sitting home are doing nothing. That I can't afford to do this. I gotta like try to get some kind of shenanigans happening. Moving out with all these vultures actually turns around. I would have liked trying at least. He has the barracks, but I guess he sees that there's like too many vultures, doesn't want to risk anything. So just taking a lot of damage back at home. 3 kills and 5 kills for these Wraiths. Finally, we do have the Goliath finish, so that should shut this down at a point, but this is well worth the investment we saw from SVA. Bought all the time for the expansion, tons of damage being done. His barracks just being a pain in the ass as well. It's just everything looking pretty good.
Alright, so Wraith's starting to take off. We have the missile turrets that are up, so Wraiths should be relatively ineffective from this point on, but, you know, still looking at pretty sizable advantage for SVA, 6 worker margin, and we'll see what the next steps are.
I mean, if you keep these Wraiths alive, like, they're useless in the way they were just being used, but, like, having a couple Wraiths flying around to help you protect against drops, where it's like, the damage you've done, you gotta expect the Havior is gonna try something to get back in the game. And harassment's a lot more realistic than it's like this attack that my opponent won't be prepared for when you've been put behind the ball. I also see here, good at forcing these barracks to land, and, you know, eventually you'll kill it.
Eventually. Yeah, I mean, you can continue to use the Wraiths for scouting and gathering intel, spotting for tanks and other things like that, but I don't think we'll see, well, as I start to say, I don't think we'll see more Wraiths. He's making Wraiths out of that proxy port.
I mean, if it rolls up out of nowhere, especially if you want to invest in Cloak, the other thing that's like, turrets are good defense back at home, but if you don't have access to some of these things, like, they're not great at making sure you can't push out. You can see, like, SVA with the 3rd CC on the way. You know, maybe it's just trying to make sure it's like, your tanks aren't going to be able to move. Now, we have not seen a lot of tanks this game yet, which is actually funny. Like, all things considered, there's been a lot of vulture pressure. These Wraiths have been doing some jobs, like a little bit of the Goliath action as well. The first tank's about to hit the field for SVA, so I think they set up this 3rd base is going to be in a really comfortable spot here. The worker count discrepancy did get a little bit better over time. Xavier doing a great job trying to recover the best they can here. And moving out now with these vultures again, has mines available. And vulture wars in the middle of the map about to start happening. Shenanigans afoot.
Now, if SVA was a little bit tactical here, you could, oh, now see, alright, never mind. I was going to say, you could go and test the natural and see if you can get some damage done, but with the vultures running in here, it makes perfect sense to just go back, clean those up, and then gain your lead.
Yeah, that didn't do nearly as much damage I think as Havior was wanting to. SVA cleaned it up without really any losses at all, unfortunately. Did get a couple mines on the map, so has an idea what's going on. And, you know, that barracks did see the CC, which was built on the bomb side, but now flying over to the 12 to get that little high ground advantage, make it a little more obnoxious to take. But you see, SVA feeling a little comfortable, has these vultures are going to move out on the map, try to get some control as well. And actually, like you see, even though the armor was first for Havior, it looks like the first weapons upgrade will come through for SVA, making the science facility keep that rolling as well once they get that +2 as soon as they can.
Right, absolutely. In TVT, it's so important to hit that +2 attack breakpoint where siege tanks will begin 2-shotting each other instead of 3-shotting.
Yeah, siege tanks are so stupid. They do so much damage. That's still like
such strong.
Yeah, but you can see, like, look, if you just look at the minimap, there's so much blue all over the place. Havier's like losing those vultures too. Like, you can feel the pain right now. Like, you don't feel comfortable trying to move out here. But you can see we got a lot of Goliaths, so they're going to be able to help gun down a lot of these tanks. Just at least get a buffer. Try to repel this pressure a little bit. Maybe that'll be a way for Havier to secure the next base, which it doesn't feel good if you want to take this mineral base on the low ground just so you don't move out as far. Like, that doesn't feel good either.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Now, he unsieged 2 of the tanks, so I'm waiting to see if he actually moves up and tries to take more territory. Okay, just getting a healthy spread.
Second army on the way, and I control that base out the bottom for the starport. Building control towers, gonna start researching. Havier's got a flying eBay. He can barely not see that. That's tragic. That is so tragic. He can barely not see that.
Oh my gosh! I just turned off SVA's vision. Wow, that is so unfortunate. Wow.
That's funny. Like Havier is going to gear for the next expansion. They got a CC that did just finish up, trying to add on a couple more factories as well. We got a barracks remade, so they can add them up at will. It looks like finally this shenanigans has been found. A couple of raids are done pushing away that eBay, but the Glocks are going to kill this base, try to kill everything. I don't think Cloak is going to finish in time, so it does get canceled off. Not going to be able to make anything, but still, that proxy has definitely done its job, worth its weight in gold. These mines are going to see this thing land. That's actually could be a little bit dangerous here. So that's going to move out with all these vultures back on the middle map, and we'll see if he wants to start putting real pressure on over at this third base.
Now, if we get some good scans down, if SVA can find Havier's army, you should be able to determine that, yeah, he's just running in right now, that he's got the power to be able to fight this. But as I say that, a couple additional siege tanks siege up, and yeah, it's going to be a headache. We don't want to run into that.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't try to force it to happen too much. If you can get the mines down, it's nice, but when we got that many Goliaths around, it's very hard to actually get them to kind of go off and connect. SV does have some tanks made as well. They're going to go over to this high ground ridge right by the third, which is just going to be a nightmare to deal with at this point. All things considered, though, look at the supply. Like, SVA was up a lot, and Xavier really did try to catch up the best they can, so kudos to them for really staying in the game, doing what they can do. But SVA getting the positional advantage, forcing that third to lift, and, you know, we'll see if they want to take their next base or if they're going to add on more factories. Looks like a couple more factories going on, and we'll see if Havier wants to move out. Big force over to the left side. There's only mines really protecting this. Will they be caught unawares? Ooh!
Oh my goodness.
That is unfortunate. You have free scans. It's their only job. That is brutal.
Dear, that was way too much army to be losing so carelessly at this point in the game.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, but man, that is a brutal hit. Not the way you want to go. And a CC that lifted from the third looked like it's going to go down to 6, but a Vulture is going to be able to see that as well. SVA also starting off their next base over on the left side. Has SVA in the top right, so maybe want to take that one too. Just kind of go all over the map where Havier, if they want to like get anything done, they're going to have to really commit to one direction and one direction only. And to make things even worse as it goes forward, that +2 weapons, +1 armor for SVA is about to finish up really soon. So, like, it's just in all ways you can imagine, SVA is definitely going to be looking pretty strong at this point.
Yeah, and I'm looking, and I don't think I see a science facility in Havier's base, unless I'm mistaken.
I have not seen one being made, so I believe he does not have access to getting the next upgrades online.
Okay, that's going to be putting a clock on Havier right now. We need to find a way to deal with a 2-1 army that is larger in size than ours, 136 to 122 in supply.
Well, it's the same principle as like when you're playing like most situations in most of the matchups, right? It's like their army is big and strong, they're probably going to keep it together. Don't engage it. Maybe try to harass. Like, dropship's always an option to get some kind of damage done. Vultures do a great job of kind of causing a little bit of havoc back at home, or you know, you can commit to that. Lots of dropships trying to, you know, just move your army in a different position. See if you can make SVA just make a bad decision. Give up some of the territory. Give yourself a little breathing room. Maybe get that next base up. But you can see at 6 o'clock did land, building a comm set available. SVA knows about it because there was the Vulture, so we'll see if they want to go and try to like attack into this, or like they got 4 bases, they got control of the middle of the map, they got plenty of options.
Indeed. Astute observations, absolutely.
SCBA is going to start moving over on the left side, make sure these vultures can't cause any havoc over that newly established fourth base. A lot of glass made for Havior, which means not that many tanks to deal with. So both players actually a lot lighter tanks than I was expecting. So I was really thinking, especially SCBA, with all the control they had, that they would take control of that center area, get the tanks placed on there, get some turrets ready, and then, you know, maybe expand it there. Like, you got the double gas access, like, you were going to defend it anyway because it's such a good location. So, a little surprised that we haven't seen that play, but it is what it is, and Havior looking like thinking about attacking over to the left. Not sure about this one, not to these tanks.
Yeah, you're just kind of trying to poke around and find openings, but not finding any. SVA doing a really good job of solidifying the defense around the map. Look at this beautiful line just drawn, so just cutting the map in half.
Well, this is the problem, though. Like, SVA's just got to be a little bit careful. Like, if you got this great line of defense, that means you don't have it all in one spot. So, Havior, if he thinks their army really consolidates, makes a good opportunity to attack here. Let's see, a couple siege tanks in the middle are going to start doing the work. Even these mines kind of slowing things down, and it's just making things difficult here. But Havior, I think, wants to go through the middle. Reinforce is going to go through, but there's just not that many tanks here for SVA. I think he might have to yield that control and let Havior move forward.
Yeah, it's a pretty large amount of tanks being shoved up that ramp for Havior. He should be able to seize control of this, I do believe.
Yeah, you see like that supply lead. Like SVA definitely has the supply lead. The upgrade's looking a little bit better too, obviously. But you see he's got tanks over on the left. He's got tanks at the right. He's trying to control all these other spaces. So it's just you can't do everything at once. And SVA, you know, letting Havior have some of the middle part. These tanks. Oh, and
ooh,
again,
good
the
mine
mines.
connections.
Round 2 for the mines.
Ooh.
Poor Havior.
Okay, so he does successfully seize control of this centerpiece, and that's really good. That's going to help keep him in the game, especially if he can hold it.
Well, I mean, just remember before, like, SVA was down, and a couple of SCVs moving to the bottom left for shenanigans have actually found an SCC floating over in the bottom left side, so SVA now has a target if they want to be aggressive again, but Havior using the control from the mid, not trying to keep it, actually just taking it over to the bottom left, wants to take another corner of the map instead. Which, I actually don't hate the decision. I think, you know, like, you've been trading us back and forth, you're behind an upgrade, so, you know, if you're buying time, it doesn't seem too bad here. Do you see the size facility yet? There it is. So we can start the +2 for Havior, finally get up at that point. I think +3 is about to finish up for SVA. And there goes a barracks, trying to clear out that bottom side here. Havior actually up in supply at this point, definitely doing a great job trying to claw back in this game, given how the beginning went. But the macro is slipping a little bit. You can see the gas really the problem here. It just does not have access to enough refineries here. Needs to get that next base set up without any issues.
Still, good job on the spending, though. Fantastic. Well, like, we're floating a couple minerals, sure, but spending the gas is what's important. Like, look at how many tanks Havior has, and even after losing a good number, still has a healthy control group's worth, really.
Yeah, it's like he's got dropship back at home. He has not elected to use that. Havior really just keeping everything together. You can see like his army's just kind of going through the map, trying to slice little areas of control out from SVA. And I haven't landed that CC. They cleared out the bottom left, but didn't actually land the CC and start mining from it. Not making use of that move out. Just
yeah, I thought that was the plan.
I thought that was the plan too. Like you fly a CC across the map, slow style. It's like, nah, I'm good. I've changed my mind.
No, I changed my mind. I'm going to take my army all the way across the map and just attack top.
Well, SVA wants to get control of the middle, but that gives it Havior moves around and around. Finally gets his army up to that 12 o'clock side. Starts sieging through there. Let's give SVA a chance. He moves his army down to the bottom left thinking, oh, I saw the CC. You wanted to take that, right? It's like, oh, no. It has not landed. A lot of SVs dying for SVA as they try to abandon the top base. So you're going to have to give on up. A nice move from Havior to try to get something done on the map here. You can see again, up on workers, up on supply, doing a great job. It just needs to get that next gas base established.
Check out the factory count for SVA. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, it doesn't seem bad at all at this point. Like, you're nearing that kind of max supply. If you're going to start losing things and trading units like we've seen in this game, you know, the rebuild them definitely not a bad thing. Drops rolling through, but SV's got a lot of tanks here. I don't think you try to force your way into this one. Havier's been doing so good this game, not directly engaging. Instead, is going to directly engage. Goes okay. Like, you trade a couple tanks here for a couple tanks there. Keep the attention down at this bottom side. Is going to lose his CC, and SV has actually taken their own CC over at the bottom left instead. We figured Haver didn't want it. Don't let it go to waste.
Oh, losing that CC. Ouch.
Actually got a lot of CCs, a couple up at the top right as well, but Haver is going to tap out GG. It's a hard matchup. I don't think that game was over yet, though. Honestly.
I think it was pretty close to over.
If nothing else, Javier, I think, could have tried to take that. Like, he never tried to take the 3 o'clock base. The one furthest away from SVA where he'd be the most out of position to attack it. I think that could have been, like, the next one to get the next gas online. But still, okay. I like the play that we were seeing from both players. So it makes me very, ready for Eclipse. Because that can lead to some really weird TBT games. And it seems like these guys have an idea of what they want to do. So they're not trying to cheese it out. They're actually trying to play the matchup proper. So I'm very excited for Game 2.
Much respect given. Yeah, both players putting out some pretty interesting and impressive play that game for Game 1. And now, yeah, looking forward to Game number 2. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, Game 2, back on the Eclipse. In the top right, in the red Terran, we got Javier. In the bottom left, in the blue Terran, we got SVA. So, yeah, we'll see how this one goes. This map can definitely get a little bit weird. Yeah, I think you have to choose which way you're going to go. If you want to go for the bottom right, get those 2 bases that they're high ground. They got a ramp. They're a little easier to defend. Or if you want to go across the top side, because you got the double gas up at the corner as well. So, like, we'll see who's going for the double gas this game. I think SCA probably would not be the one trying to go for it. Just, like, kind of thinking how things go. But you're also not going to have that proxy starport shenanigans. I think that's you played the card. Your opponent should be at least a little more ready for it now.
Yeah, I think I'll probably pass on that one.
Or do you? Maybe that's the ultimate mix.
Or do you? Huh. But yeah, when it comes down to it at the end, I think what's going to determine the victor for this match is control of the corners. The black corners right now. Top left, bottom right.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it the last game, though. You can't be everywhere once. You have to be very particular. So I think you got to have a game plan of what you want to do and just really be focused on it. Because I think that was like some of the problem we saw is, it felt like there's spots for both players. They're just like, maybe they were a little bit lost, like trying to figure out like, oh, well, what's my next step? Like, my spot feels like it's good, but I don't like what base should be trying to kill. Should we try to take my own? Am I just trying to control and cut off pass and just make sure like, hey, just don't get here. So, well, hopefully this map should be a little more clear cut, because I think after like the first 3 bases, depending where your opponent's like position their army, should be very clear what they're trying to do, and then you can just decide if you want to mess it up or do your own plan instead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we're getting gas openers from both players again. I always like ask the blind when we're watching DVDs. I'm like, how come we never see like gases expand or CC first or anything? And he's just very adamant about not losing the initial map control in this matchup. So both these players subscribe to that school as well, apparently.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. When I was learning Terran, it was Whip who really drove into my head. Early factory timing really, it matters.
Yeah, I mean, you see like how bad these gauges, especially if it's tanks, but even just mines. Like when you're not the first one in there, you're not the first one doing stuff. It can be very difficult to work with. SVA does start the first factory, goes down to 1 guy mining gas, so it seems like maybe the intention to expand. Haver doing the same, so no shenanigans starport thing this game. It looks like we're going to get pretty similar openings, at least to start up.
Yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of the slow pace of the game, which, we chase the scouts around a little bit. SVA's coming home.
Well, Javier's looking like he is going to die. A couple of rains were made to make sure they didn't get the kill on that, which is not really a problem at all. And you can actually see, like, even like stuff like that is like how many Marines do you make early is a decision, but both players are kind of agreeing 2's enough. I'm good. Start flying to barracks. Start having a good time. And CC goes down for Javier first, but SVA should be right behind him.
Yep, and 2 is standard, Marine call-wise. 1's a little greedy, 3's a little more aggressive, but 2's nice and comfy right in the middle.
Dude, middle of the road, man. Middle of the road's never the way to go in strategy games. Be all the way greedy or be all the way aggressive.
Overpool.
I don't play Zerg. I did. Well, I did when I did play Zerg. I didn't overpool. I 9-pooled. I was 9-pooled.
Well, that is our middle of the ground build, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Now, SVA showing a little bit more respect to maybe shenanigans happening early on. Actually getting the bunker up by the expansion, kind of keep everything close. Same thing with Havior. I mean, you got the Marines, you might as well. No big problem here. But Havior actually getting very quick armory. Honestly, you know, early game, definitely no joke at the DPS they can do. And if they did like a Goliath drop or something fun, that'd be super cool. But this might just be, you know, the reaction to, I saw what you did last game, and I'm not letting it happen this time.
Yeah, it could be Goliath drop. It could also be like 3 factory tank Goliath composition, which can be pretty strong. We'll have to wait and see.
Don't think I've seen that one before. That'd be cool. Yeah, well, there's 3 factories as you're saying, so you know maybe that'll be it. So when is that trying to hit? Like, is that like you need like 3 tanks you move out? You're waiting for +1s or any like particular indicator? Like this is the thing.
I'm not 100% confident about it, so I can't really say. But I think you can use it in conjunction with a drop or without, and just go for some sort of timing. But it turns out Goliaths are really good against vultures and are not half bad against other Goliaths. They suck versus tanks, but you bring tanks to the fight and, you know, hopefully you get a good position, hopefully you get a good engage. Goliaths are actually pretty robust.
Yeah, it seems interesting. Now, SVA actually got a lot of damage done with that vulture. Killed the 2 Marines right in the bunker because they left trying to do some damage. Killed a couple SUVs as well. Got up in the base, I think saw 2 of the factories, but didn't see all of them. Did not see the armory or any Goliaths made, so doesn't have that full knowledge that you might think, oh, the vulture got in the main. You're going to know what's going on. Maybe not as much as you would like here. Going to 3 factories for SVA as well. Working on siege mode as their upgrade at the machine shop right now. And if you could get this barracks out of here, that free information would be nice to stop, because SVA actually never lifted theirs. They preferred having the wall off, making things a little more difficult for vultures to go crazy early on, which Havior didn't make, so, you know, that's unfortunate.
And that's probably a good call with that barracks too, because SVA decided, elected not to make vultures. So if Havior had decided to go speed vultures, it'd run right in. It'd be very difficult to keep up with that mobility. So choking that off is a really good idea.
This barracks taking some damage, but I don't think it's going to get in the red and start burning down. So just going to have to get out of there, stop giving away the free vision.
Oh, it stopped!
Oh no. Oh no. Not like this, man. Not like this.
It's on fire. A building is on fire. Many people in the chat know what that means.
Yeah, you gotta go outside. You gotta be careful, man. It's about player safety here, you know?
It's about something.
It's about something. It's about barracks being dead. No more factories being able to made. Now, Haver does have 3. You know, I think you can be comfortable in that for a while on G-base. It's not going to really cause too many issues, but you never want to remake that barracks. It's never really feeling that great. Haver did move out with the Goliaths, getting a little bit of that like soft concave. Vulture even going to poke around and see if they can find anything. Does not find any shenanigans from SVA just yet. And Haver working on their own siege mode, about to finish up. Maybe adding some tanks, but still mostly Goliath production at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned for Havior. We actually don't have any siege tanks on the field, so taking this on, yeah, forced to back out. These tanks will shred these Goliaths. But turning around once you have the high ground advantage, now that's a different story.
I don't think it's that different of a story. It's like you killed off 1 tank, but you lost 2 Goliaths, and a lot of them are still very bruised. It's good to at least, you know, try to keep these tanks at low ground, slow things down a little bit, give your production around.
Look how low that tank is. It almost got it. It's getting repaired now. Thank goodness. Okay, siege mode finished for Havior. He's got 1 tank. Is he going to push in with this 1 tank?
I think this looks like just the little soft, like, hey, just hang out here, because he's moving SV up to 12. Maybe wants to get that next base, but SVA sees the future, sends 2 vultures up there right on time to make sure that dies and keep this on a 2-base game.
Brilliant intuition. Brilliant.
move going forward, you can see these Goliaths not doing too well against the siege tanks this time. Maybe you're losing a lot of units here trying to push forward. Not really getting too much done here. Actually losing the tank as well. Mines are around, not going to be able to get too much done. Havior loses the attacking force. Doesn't get to start their next base as well. And they're actually starting to float up a little bit of money. I'm sort of very surprised that they didn't start the CC in the main, just plan to fly it over. Feels like that's a much more effective way of trying to do that, but you know, SVA getting in the early game, just finding these little advantages, getting their CC. That's pretty far along done at this point, and the first one to start getting the starboard, I believe.
Right, and we'll see how the upgrades go. SVA's got his +1 on the way, and it's about to finish. We don't have anything started yet for Havior, so we could see that +2 breakpoint really affect the mid game.
It's definitely possible. I mean, go for you.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yep. Barracks halfway done for Havior, so I think maybe the wanting to add on some more factories, try to get something done. Finally, to start that CC up at the 12 o'clock. You know, has scanners, got to clear out those mines that are blocking things off. Barracks for SVA will go down. Did provide a lot of good vision though, as he manages to push forward into the map with these tanks, but they are all alone. Not too much here. Got to be very careful not to get like mines just laid under your feet and cause too much chaos here. But give yourself a nice little positional edge moving forward and claiming some of that high ground, trying to slow the game down a little bit. Seems very good for SVA.
I like this. Seizing of the territory is quite effective. I'd like to see him pick a base behind it. That'd be really nice.
Well, I mean, he is flying over to that 9 o'clock base, but there is a vulture here, so that'll be able to block it and at least see the attempted move out as well. So, you know, getting an idea what's going on. Mine killing off a Goliath. And the vulture killing off the other one. Man, Havior and Mine. It's just, it is not the combo.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. And, ooh, that was close with those mines. Jeez, oh my gosh. Heart rate's up.
I was hoping. I was like, come on. Big Mine hits are great. Let's come on, get some more.
Okay, third CC finishing for Havior now, so we should start to get that up and rolling. Adding on some additional factories too. Ooh.
SVA building another CC back in their main. I guess the plan for him, because if you're building it that far away, you're not flying it to the bottom left. You got to be going for that other 9 o'clock base. Maybe plan to go up towards the double gas.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not really sure. It gets scanned, but huh.
The dummy goof CC. It's like, look, I'm building my third. So I already took my third. You were mistaken earlier. Look, I'm just building it.
Alright, we got a little bit of army move out down here in the lower right finally. Some mines laid.
Little army, it's two
Just
units. Oh,
it's a little army. It's a little army.
It's two best butts. It's two guys playing.
It's Beavis and Butthead.
I'm not saying nothing about Terran units and if Beavis Butt is applicable. You know what though? Like you said that. That's cool.
Alright, where were we?
I don't know. It's a positional game right now where it's. I don't think anyone really wants to commit to going one way or the other. You're seeing just like even like trying to gear up the center. Like no one's trying to push too much further forward at this point. But it looks like Havior, you know, send that little group of stuff down to the bottom right. One SCP was there, so maybe wanted to take a base, but mine is just being a little bit annoying at this point. Havior is going to mine up to the next location for SVA as well. So someone's got to kind of make the commitment of where they want to go next if they're trying to get to the next phase of the game, which SVA is starting to bank up a decent amount of money. I think they want to get that next gas location online, try to, you know, maybe make use of this starport, because I haven't really seen too much. Just get the one dropship, but that's all I've really seen happen so far.
Yeah, I'd like to see a couple more dropships and then start utilizing heavy drop play. Increase the mobility of your army, make it much, much more effective.
I think especially on a map like this, where it's like you can see where the battle line's being drawn in the middle. If you want to go around, you use these dropships, go to some of the other bases. And it's
Yes.
a good way to pull out some of this stalemated position. So we will see.
Yeah, and it looks like that fourth CC is intended to land at the 9 o'clock position, so we'll see SVA try to secure that.
Yeah, he's got the turret being made to kill that mine with the tank.
Brilliant.
In a way. In a way.
In a light, soft way.
tanks from Havior across the top side, though. Don't think it's to establish anything. Maybe just trying to close up another avenue. Because as SVA does take the left side, you know, you got access to going through that, what is that, the 12 o'clock base. You know, maybe try to sneak through there, avoiding this big double high ground that they're currently kind of positioned at. And Havior is going to take their next base as well, down the bottom right in that first ramped base. And you know, if they can establish that other one right next to it, it could be in a really good spot. I think that's what I want to see Havior do. If they can establish that, they'll be in a pretty solid spot. They're actually making sure they're putting pressure up on the top left, not just letting SVA establish all that for free.
Yeah, Havior doing a good job of seizing command of some of the locations in this game. Top left is now his, bot right is now his, and also that's a really, really nicely placed mine down there in the bottom right. That's actually SVA's mine. Gets a full view of that as SCV building the CC.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good, especially when you do something obnoxious. But look what SVA is building back at home. He's tired of this stalemate. We got 6 dropships about to finish up soon. So maybe loading everything up and kind of dedicating it to one big move out somewhere.
The thing gets scanned.
Oh no. Well, is what it is. It's not like having dropships is going to stop them from being good.
No, but now Havior knows that they exist and that the possibility of them coming is imminent.
Yeah, I mean, he's got money, so I guess you start throwing turrets around, but, you know, it's Eclipse as well. It's like you got a lot of spots where you're not allowed to build turrets. You're not going to be making your life too much easier with there, so they'll still got to be very careful about the army's positioning, and especially, like, how many tanks you make, maybe versus how many Goliaths, if you want to work in some anti-air. Try to get ready for some of these kind of moves, but right now, still just in the build-up. Haver's got a lot of SCVs and starting to nearing the max, so curious if there's going to be a point where he's got to start hedging some of those off to try to open up some supply as well. And Forte, are you here? Oh no. Or is Forte here? We good?
Oh, hey, my internet was dying.
Oh no, can't handle the climactic ending of this game whenever we get there. It'll get there eventually. So hopefully your internet is not going to struggle too much though. I think it's okay.
I'm not sure what that was, but, you know, my apologies.
Is what it is. Dealt with way worse with the bottom.
And I see not much has really changed here, so we're kind of just in a nice draw, splitting the map down diagonally like that. And where do you think we go from here?
Well, I mean, these are going to get set up here. SVA has already made their plan with all these dropships planning to go in there. Everything's loaded up over by his natural, so I think we're going to see the move out pretty soon, but I'd like SVA committing to the dropships. With Havior taking the bottom right side, I think it's going to be hard to try and attack those than it would be for Havior to attack the top left. So being proactive for SVA makes sense to me. You see going right through the middle of the map. I don't know how Vision got here, but oh, he's right outside the natural. Definitely spotted now.
He's going to have to drop.
Oh no. Oh no.
He's going to have to drop.
He's going straight for the main. Oh my god, he's losing so many dropships.
Ooh, it might be worth it.
This is interesting. Just the big ass tomb tower, just like whatever, man. Tired TBT.
It might be worth it.
And a lot of tanks do end up getting through. Lost a lot on the way. You can see that supply, like, they were about even. SV does go down. Could lose dropship trying to escape as well because of all these turrets, I believe. But yeah, these tanks did some damage. I don't. He's got a lot of money banked up. So you know, I don't hate it. I don't know if it was like how worth it was, but I don't hate the move. I think it's okay, and it did pull your opponent out of position. So, you know, maybe the hope is to weaken things. You see some tanks moving over on that middle high ground. So if you're trying to push forward, maybe that could be the move. Vultures are going to come in from the top side as well, and it's just kind of distracting behavior. He didn't manage to take the other bottom right base yet. SV hasn't taken the top left either. And ooh, look at the plan now. Going in towards Yamada Cannon, Battle Cruisers just want to clear supply. And if you load things in dropships, I guess you do clear up your ground supply pretty quickly if you lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think even the dropship play back there would probably be absolutely worth it if SVA can secure this sort of, I guess, 11 o'clock position and prevent Havior from taking that part of the map.
Yeah, that would be difficult to hold, but if you did manage to get that, you definitely secure the top left for free as well. But See, SV does need to buy a little bit of time here. Like, these Valkyries, they take a while to build up to kind of go through here, but you got a couple tanks up in the top left, kind of a nice little move out here. Moving some force across the bottom as well, so you can see, like, kind of attacking a bunch of different angles if you get Javier out of position. You know, maybe he takes more out of a fight than he should, but if nothing else, just buying time, and then you got to be able to transition to this air game, which, like, Javier, I think, sees coming. He's building a lot of Goliath's blind at this point. Not really adding it to the tanks anymore, so he should have. I think he scanned. He has an idea of what we're in the mood for, but still.
He must have scanned, yeah.
It's still Yamato can, it's still Battle Cruisers. Like, it's going to slowly open the game up a little bit, especially like this middle area where there's not a lot of anti-air. Like, there's no turrets to help. You're going to have to kind of work your way through here. And maybe that'll be where SVA wants to start expanding towards that top left side.
I like this attempt at choking off this lower right area of the map that SVA is trying to do. Now, if Javier were so to take the initiative here, he could probably pack up some of the tanks on the high ground there and pinch this off and clear it out, no problem.
I mean, this is a big move towards that middle high ground, so Javier might be taking some of the initiative, but actually peels back, decides against him. Curious what he saw, where he wanted to go. It seemed like that would have been a good move. Protect that base, maybe secure your other one down the bottom right, and kind of repel SVA a little bit, but he decides to turn around and is going towards top left instead. These siege tanks on the high ground doing some pretty good work here at 2-2, so they got the upgrades they need to do damage. Javier still only up with one attack, so this tank's not nearly as effective, and the high ground chance helping out, so this little defense that SVA had doing a great job as he keeps throwing some more stuff down at the bottom right as well.
Oh my gosh, this is like the most efficient group of 4 siege tanks I've ever seen.
It's completely obnoxious. A lot of scans going down. Javier wants to keep pushing over this top left side. So that's secured, so maybe that's just for the next base. He wants to go there instead of the bottom ray. Not really sure what we're looking at here. Trying to go through Death Alley. A couple vultures do kind of choke that off a little bit, but most of the Javier's army is definitely in that top left, so see if that's good. Is it just as secure, or is he actually going to go for the push, maybe try to kill that 9 o'clock base?
Well, we got a lot of armies shuffling around at the top as the 11 o'clock position. Javier looking like he wants to secure that base. And then lower right, we have a nice line of siege tanks from SVA. Not seeing anything on the high ground because no vision. I just throw up a scan, you'll get a couple free turrets. Probably hit the CC from there too. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, looks like he cleared out enough of the defense. He's just going to roll it up there. There's actually no units, so that's pretty good here. Javier's got a couple tanks on siege. Can he move over there in time? SV is actually staying on low ground, just trying to be cheeky about it instead.
That's pretty tight positioning. Javier's siege tank's coming from the top here. Ooh, sieging on top of fire though, I'm not really sure.
That's interesting. Actually does a pretty good job so far. So you can see Javier losing some tanks here, but slowing things down for SVA that wants to put the pressure on, and well, like, keep reinforcing down this bottom right side. But meanwhile, remember, during all this, just buying time, we haven't actually seen the battle cruisers in the fight yet. Like, they're floating around. Right. They are building up, but I don't know where they're at.
Oh, they're in the lower left. There's 6 of them built up so far. 2 more on the way. Oh, he's supply blocked. Oh no.
Well, he's setting some SVs on the lower right side. He's at 81. You don't need this many at this point in the game. Start or bank up. Just really needs to worry about gas. So cutting out some of the supply, kind of getting things to work from here, seems pretty reasonable at this point. Has not done the damage you're looking to do over that bottom right side. The battle keeps kind of going back and forth. Has bought time for Javier to take a base up at the 11 o'clock as well. And that top left is going to end up being contested at this point, as SV is actually going to take the other bottom right base instead of Javier.
Yeah, this game may very well come up to just top left. Whoever takes it, secures it, and gets both of those gases rolling.
I think a big part of it is also going to just be how effective these Valkyries are when they're revealed and used. I'm sure they're known about, but like, it's kind of like, you know, like you see like carrier sense, like, well, 2 versus 4 versus 6, like how many when it happens, like, did you keep building anti-air, or it's just the threat of it? So we're going up to, I believe, 8 pretty soon at this point, building up some of those air upgrades as well. Javier is putting some attention up at the top left and wants to try and secure that if they can.
It looks like he's sending a healthy amount of siege tanks that should be able to contend with SVAs. We'll see whether or not he can actually take it, though. And I'm keeping my eyes on those battle cruisers to see when they move out. Come on, let's go.
I don't know, might be waiting for the upgrades at this point. It is also, something to consider that Valkyries, they're not the greatest units in history, so we'll see what it goes through. But SVA did manage to break through up to the top right, barely. The defense might be able to clear it all out here, but still starting to do some damage, drawing more attention to the bottom right. Haver's still investing lots of tanks in the top left as well. SVA not reinforcing nearly as much.
Oh, now see, what I think is cool is Javier's trying to invest a little bit into Wraiths. If you look at the top right, he's built up a little force there, probably anticipating for the battle cruisers. And combine that with the Goliaths, it's probably pretty efficient anti-air.
Yeah, I mean, cloaked Wraiths are really good at killing Valkyries, especially if you're not paying attention. You kind of miss the
Absolutely.
So definitely could be a good move here. At some point, you gotta move these Valkyries, man. At some point, you're gonna use them. It's gonna be up to 11 soon. I don't know when the move's gonna be, but you can see the way Haver's been playing, like what he's sending up to the top left, what he's been reinforcing bottom right. He is not like really investing in anti-air. It's still a lot of tanks, a lot of ground muscle. So, and Haver doesn't have the bank that we're talking about with SVA. He might get caught off really bad by this switch.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And at this point, there's no way he does not know about those battle cruisers. There's so many scans that have gone off.
Alright, finally more move out from Havier. Mine's still doing damage, but doesn't obliterate the army this time. Gonna go through up to that top left. Gonna keep trying to push in over to the 9 o'clock base instead. And there's a couple tanks in a pretty good position covering both the entrances, so Havier gonna back off that. But did give himself breathing room. That 11 o'clock base looking really safe at this point. And there's no real pressure over at the bottom left. I hear shots, but there's siege tanks everywhere. I hear a siege tank shot. It means nothing to me.
I can't find the action either. I still have my eyes peeled on these battle cruisers. That's a huge number. And there's not enough anti-air, I don't think.
Yeah, he's still making them. It's not like he forgot about them.
This is good, but will it be enough?
Look, their race over at the bottom right. Just getting these tanks out of here, trying to make things a little bit more annoying. Even though there's not that much to worry about, it does open up space on that side. Havier's also got a ground force moving through the middle of the map. Not on the high ground side, but just through that low ground in the middle towards the 9 o'clock bases instead. Havier did set up a Saetzero line over the top
all
left
these
too.
Wraiths. The bottom right, Wraiths, every single one lost.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be great when these Valkyries are finally being used here. Up at the middle of the map, going to make Havier turn that army right the hell around. Both players are at max at this point. Havier, you don't have a lot of anti-air, but you don't really have a lot of choices to get it, unfortunately. Working on Cloak now. Surprised that hasn't been researched at this point, but, long game, things can happen pretty easily. And these Valkyries are going to roll right on up to that 11 o'clock base. They got Yamato and a ton of energy. They could just blast that and leave.
And here they come. 2-1 upgrades, Yamato blasts going off.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Goliaths get evaporated. Tanks have to move forward because they have to get some kind of value, but you can see Havier without the bank that SVA has, trying to desperately go into a fight, gonna eat a couple more mines. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Getting the snipe off on the CC. Ooh, that's a big deal. Ooh, killing lots of SCVs too. And there's not really an answer here for all these BCs, so I'm not really sure where we go from here as Havier.
It's not great. It's not a great situation. You don't have a lot of money to invest in. That means you also can't invest more in the ground thing. SVA has so much money banked up at this point. You can just see Havier's trying to throw every can over this 9 home base, try to get some kind of damage done. It's not going to kill the base, but if it buys time, gets these Valkyries to come back and help defend, whatever you can do at this point. SVA sees that race might be the threat. Got to work at actually adding on some Valkyries for the anti-Wraith tech to make that a little more annoying to deal with. And Havier just running on fuse at this point. The 12 o'clock base is going to run out of money very soon. Same with the bottom right. So losing that 11 really means a lot at this point. He's going to try to build a CC up at the top left, but if that gets found, there's no way that stays alive. No way.
Absolutely no way. Nope.
Live's trying to move out though, but that does mean the ground force isn't that great. And here come the Valkyries. Just got a whole pack of 12 just rolling on through. Versus the no anti-air. Oh no.
Alright, so we're going to lose this base too. Not really much of an answer. And oh, the 11 o'clock base for SVA gets caught.
Yeah, it gets caught. I think it's just a viable distraction. It's like they're going to roll by. It's like, oh, I guess we should kill this. That gives time for the Valkyries to finish what they want to do. Get ready for the fight. Plenty of energy. So these Goliaths just getting Yamato'd all over the place. Scan goes down the race. Is it going to be enough to go through it? There's just not enough damage to go do this. And Levi are going to lose another large chunk of their army. All these Valkyries are still basically alive at this point. And SVA successfully made the BC switch to looking really strong here. Havior, their bases are mining out quickly. That's going to be it.
GG.
GG gives us a 2-0 victory for SVA. Doing a great job on that one. Which does leave us with a point for 2 Factory Furious. So after 2 games, back to tied. Glad to see it's not just a blowout. But TBT, see, it's not that bad. It's just, you know, we get to a certain point, it's just, how do you open up the game? I don't understand it. Terran players are animals.
Yep. I keep telling people, you know, it's not that bad. It's pretty interesting.
It's pretty interesting. Now, we do got a couple more sets. We're going to take like a 2-minute break. We're going to get some water, restroom, that kind of stuff, and we're going to get right back into it. It's going to be Ash, Zakram, and Erob. PvP, a lot faster mirror to kind of get us back into it. We're going to be back in a couple minutes, so you guys, see you soon. Okay, looks like we are back to get into it. If you guys, weren't paying attention the last couple minutes, we got the 2 matches we've done so far, Lana's Hot and Tade, which that went in favor of Tade, 2-1. It was pretty good. Pretty good. Some shenanigans happened, but a very entertaining match. We had a pretty good TVT that we just missed as well. You can check that on the VODs. But we're going back into it. We got the PvP. We got a couple more matches. We're going to keep finishing up Tier 1, but so far, has not disappointed at all.
Definitely not. I'm very satisfied with the play I've seen so far. A lot of out-of-this-world thinking. Really cool play. Excellent macro, tight micro.
Oh man, you're so complimentary. I'm going to make you say something bad. I'm going to make you criticize these players. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but still having a great time watching some fantastic games to start off our grand finals. So, and if you want to talk about a matchup that we can kind of dig into some mistakes, this feels like an easy one to start with. We're getting into Ash Zakram versus... Oh, hold up. Gotta change the colors. Easy enough. In the top right, in the purple Protoss is Ash Zakram, representing 2 Fact 2 Fears. In the bottom left, in the red Protoss, it's Erob for Let Us Attack. And I think anyone that's played against them knows Erob's a monster. I'm terrified. I'm so scared. Erob is just actually an animal. Not to say anything bad about Zakram, but Erob is definitely just a phenomenal player for what I've seen at CPL.
Haven't seen much of either one of these 2 players play, so I'm in the blind here. And also, it's a PvP, so I know the least about this. Saetzero, please take the reins.
Oh, not a problem at all. It's the easiest thing in the world. You're gonna have something you're better at than your opponent. You just gotta find out what it is and you abuse it. It's like people say the matchup's coin flipping, and it's not. It's just not. It can be if you like to gamble, which you can. Like you can be like, I'm just not gonna get detection. You'd be like, how dare he make DTs? Like, well, how dare you not get detection? That's your problem.
So what? You just like do 2-gate observer every single time and laugh when they try to get away with cheeky play?
If you're just learning PvP and you're like, I don't know, dude, feels like you can go 2-gate robo and like plan to get observers and reavers every game. It's never gonna be a problem. It might not give you like I'm way ahead or I'm way behind. It's gonna give you a normal game. Like you're gonna win or lose the mid game through your engagements, through your when do you expand? Like are you trying to cut corners? Like there's definitely like solid builds where it's like it's not just I hope my opponent didn't do this. And we're already seeing here both players mirroring. We got the couple various things you could do in the opening, but we do see gateway into gas from both players. No 2-gate shenanigans, no crazy stuff. At least not on the first map. Good night. Just want to play the stable game so far.
So what you're telling me is there's ways to guarantee a stable game in PvP?
Pretty much.
Beautiful.
2-gate robo or 3-gate observers are both really stable openers. There's like there are things you can do that is like, oh, like you might struggle here, but it's like you're not gonna get DTs aren't gonna kill you. You're not gonna get smoked by a reaver drop. Like you'll have the tools you need to do what you want now. It's just like, is it your turn to expand? Should you be attacking? Like, should you make this second reaver? Like it's gonna be decisions like that that are gonna kind of get people out of control. And you can see even just little things, just like they always happen in every mirror. Erob's Cybercore is very delayed compared to the opponent because they wanted to go for a little bit of safety and they got an initial zealot. So like
Cool.
every like cutting corners, like it could get you in trouble, and it's like if you don't want to cut the corners, then you're fine. Zakram didn't get that zealot. If there was proxy gates, they'd be in trouble. They chose to cut the corner.
Right on. Take me to school. So let's go on a little walk here. Tell me where this game goes if both players continue opening up very normal, very standard.
The defender's advantage is always hard to deal with, especially with units like Zealots and Dragoons and Reavers and eventually Psystorm, right? So if both players are kind of doing similar builds, it's going to be who blinks first, who wants to commit to the attack, or who wants to commit to the defense and like take the expansion. And that's what I was like kind of saying with, it's like, where's your advantage? Try to lean into it. And we're seeing here, from Erob going for that one gate into Robo, they're going to get observers nice and fast, reavers nice and fast they want, but they don't have a lot of gateway production yet. So we'll see where they want to go from here. Zachram actually doing something very similar. And even this could be like, they could add on more gateways, and this Robo's just for observers. It could be for a fast reaver. Maybe you don't even want to get the shuttle, fast nexus to be defensive, but then you don't have mobility. It's like, it's all just stuff where you think about what you're trying to do, and then just play to the strength. Don't try to be like, I'm going to get this reaver and expand, and then also attack. You can't do all of it. You have to like make a choice. This is what I'm doing.
I see. Very good. Makes sense. Now, this gets more interesting the further along this game gets, as these two continue to look more and more like each other. Like, where does the real deviation begin? It's fascinating.
Well, you can see already at least one thing, because Erob's Robo was a lot faster, and you can see he's getting Observer, first thing here, covers you against DTs, and you can send it to your opponent to see what they're doing, but also actually committing to the support bay. So, with still one gateway, and getting the support bay, I'm going to guess the next thing will be a Reaver, and he's going to plan to expand. He's going to keep reducing out of this one thing. I don't think there's going to be an attack coming. Now you look at someone like Zachram, though. Like, did they get the support bay yet? They're working on that first Observer soon. The Observatory should be done. But they could also just add on gateways and go Goon Observer and not even worry about it. And you see adding on second gateway, so Zachram, maybe wants to be a little more aggressive. Starts the Nexus, but no Reavers, which could cause you problems if Era wanted to be really aggressive here, but since he's going Reaver, no shuttle, he's not very mobile, probably not going to be able to move out and punish that.
So then, if Erob does elect to go the Reaver route, does that mean that Erob is the one that has the initiative here?
It depends on how they want to go from here. Like, they see their star or their Nexus, they can build up the Reavers, have them ready for defense, and then, like, if they go Reaver, then shuttle. Once the shuttle's done, they have the two Reavers complete. So, like, the shuttle helps on defense, but also that's what enables your Reavers to attack. But this will give Zachram some time to have some gateways, start producing more units, and you see build the support beta. Oh, they're going to get Reavers, just not as fast as Erob. Erob's opening would have been really nice if they, like, got attacked early. Like, by some, like, Zealous or something, that the Reaver would be there. It'd be, it could be a good way to help defend that. But both players right now being pretty good. Now, Erob, the Observer, got picked off. Didn't get to seed the Nexus. Didn't go straight forward, but saw some goons, but not a ton. And there was an Observer that does kind of... It's one of those, like, you get information because there's not things. Like, oh, if you got this Observer, well, you don't have Templar yet. So you're kind of, like, crossing things off the list. So far, I think this game is in a pretty good spot, but you can see just even on a game that was very similar in the opening for a good period, Erob's up a couple workers, up a little bit of supply. Their tech's a little bit further along because you can see they're working on the Reavers, and they're going to be the first one to 2 Reavers in a shuttle. And if they keep building out their gateways they got right here, if they feel comfortable enough to move out, that could be pretty dangerous.
I'm actually quite surprised that Erob's the one that has more workers, given that the Natural Nexus just now finished.
Zachram even said it in the chat. He was cutting probes to get those gateways up faster, to get that Nexus a little faster. Again, like little cutting corners, little sacrifices, just trying to get things going. Love what we're seeing from Zachram, that he has pylons over at the 6 and over at the 9. Scouting pylons to see any kind of obvious drops would be a big heads up that something's going to go through. And the Erob's finally turning online after staying on one gate for so long, adding on a bunch here. So as the Robo produced the observers you want and got the 2 Reavers, the shuttle's going to be on the way soon, and Erob's army is going to kind of explode and be really scary. Not out of nowhere, but a lot faster than you might think it would. But both players playing very similar right now. It's actually really interesting. Usually you don't see this.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah. Right, yeah, you don't. It's really, really cool to see, though.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, though, Zachram definitely had more ability to make more stuff, but he cut a lot of workers. He's down, with nothing happening, he's down 8 workers, which means the army may be a little bit more robust. You can see it has a couple more goons. Erob got a couple of zealots, but without speed, they're not going to be super useful. I mean, they can cause their own kind of problems, of course. But he's going to have that shuttle soon and 2 Reavers online. Zachram's making their own, so they should have the shuttle ready for defense if Erob wants to move out here. But they want to just keep building up and go to like a 3rd base here. Again, it's that first one to blank. Like, I feel like I have to attack, or the first one planning to expand when the other one's not trying to match it. That's where you're going to see something happen in this matchup. It's just very patient for both players, so I'm very impressed to see that no one's cracked and just be like, I feel the pressure of PvP, and just go for it.
Right. You know what's cool is Zachron plays strategic pylons where drops could go surrounding Irob's base. I really like that. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I was mentioning that earlier. It's a really good heads up thing to do, just to be sure that, and like even like that one at the 9 o'clock, for example, or even the 6, they both kind of serve the purpose. They'll see a drop, but also if your opponent wants to take a third base, they're gonna have to kill it. They're gonna show you when they want it.
Right.
So definitely seeing both move outs now. Zachron feeling comfortable here that they finished the shuttle. A lot of Dragoons are going to move out to the middle map. You're going to try to match this, but you can see Zachron, more units, but in a worse concave. Both players going to drop their Reavers trying to go through. Where's the macro so far? Shuttle goes down for Erob, but not for Zachron just yet. Lots of Goons still alive. But where are the Reavers? Oh, Erobs have not been touched.
Oh, yeah, they got picked off.
Yeah, the purple ones died very quickly here. You can see so many Goons going through. Small defender's advantage. Erob's going to reinforce. The Reaver's still alive here, and that engagement goes terribly for Zachron. The Reavers just died too quickly here. Even with the Goon advantage, control in a blink of an eye, things turn very quickly, and now scrambling for defense without these Reavers, Erob can just freely push forward.
So at this moment, you would say then would be appropriate to take a third base for Erob?
You could think that, but like, look at the observer. He sees there's no Reavers, no real defense, and he has about the same amount of Goons. Like, he could just keep muscling through. He's not under any real
commit
threat.
to this?
Yeah,
okay.
He can commit to this. You want to take a third base? Sure, go ahead, but like, you see how fast everything dies. Now, it did lose the shuttle, lost one of the Reavers, the other one like on fumes, but again, eliminate all these Goons. Now you have to worry about how do you make your thing. So Reaver's going to crawl forward, but it has no shuttle, so Europe is going to dive in on it. And during all this, the macro for Europe really fall off because it's so focused on the control. Feels build stuff a little bit better back at home, like in a much better spot. But even if this attack doesn't do anything more than here, then you can take your third, knowing your opponent doesn't have an army to punish you for doing it.
Oh, if you could get the pick on this Reaver, that would be really valuable. Very nice.
So. Yeah, you can see, even he's not even reinforcing his attack. He doesn't even have to worry about it. It's just back at home, building things back up. Still riding that 9-worker lead, and the supply advantage is pretty notably ahead. Zachron's like, does not have a bag. He's like trying to produce everything they possibly can at this point. But here comes wave 2. A lot of Goons gonna move forward here. Yeah, you can see, even building a pylon, so it looks like maybe you're planning to take that third base over at the 9 o'clock instead. Shuttle on the way.
Yeah,
so
I'd like to see a third base go down at this point. You know, you got the minerals for it, definitely.
Well, he did just start one over at that mineral base, so
aha,
seize the
there
advantage.
we go.
A lot of Goons going through here. You want to fight up ground, like up to the high ground, so Zachron, he had really good positioning, but the observers will see that, so Europe doesn't have to engage anything he doesn't want to. But he's building Goons up here, has a shuttle made, I think waiting for a Reaver. That might be the trigger for him to try to go for it. And
ooh, gonna catch this base at 3 o'clock, gets the cancel on it.
Yeah, he cannot sneak in that one. That's a lot harder to do that in this matchup, unfortunately. Zachron, further credit though, trying to build up everything the best they can. Like, not overcommitting to a lot of workers, but if they're going to take a third base, they're going to need more than what they have now. And you can see Europe just trying to control, make sure Zachron stays on 2 base. Nothing crazy is happening here. Even making some zealots to go with it. Finally ends up killing that the pilot over at that left base. So we'll see where he goes from here. But Europe's really in control where they want to go, and they're going to make the next step towards the tech. Shuttle speed nearing completion, working towards their Templar archives, as Zachron's just been having to deal with Gateway and Robo the whole time. No money to really tech up any further.
Even dropping some additional gateways. I think taking the mineral only third with that's probably a really good move. Can power up additionally, start chugging along, produce a lot more units, and let's see. I'd like to see a little more Reavers. He's got one that's in that shuttle there. Gonna move out, seize control of the low ground there. It's only a matter of time before one of these players makes a move here. I feel like it might be Erob curving around and trying to attack into that low ground where the mineral only third is.
Yeah, that's a good move to try to go for something like that, because you can see, like, with everything being by the natural, it's hard to get everything in a good position. It's so that mineral base, while it's close, because the high grounds are there, because there's so many passing, it becomes very difficult. And you see, even if Zakrum's trying to position ahead of time, all you has to do is just know where he's going, go the other way. Loses an observer though, unfortunately. A couple speed cells going to roll up to the left side. They do see the shuttle moving, which that shuttle is empty. You know, a little bit of a bait here. And a lot of units are going up towards 12. Zakrum might be really out of position with this. What is ER going to do? Try to force the fire, just go into the natural, just to get Zakrum completely out of position.
Oh,
Shuttle's
if
gonna move into
only
the
he had
natural.
vision. If only.
Shuttle and natural. He doesn't care about vision.
Okay, not really the scarabs we're looking for, but...
You killed like 10. What are you talking about? You missed
did I not see it?
you missed the first one. You killed plenty.
Rewind for me, I'm blind.
It's 13 kill Reaver. No, this Reaver didn't kill enough.
Okay, I believe you now.
Well, the shuttle abandoning it. Goons are around, but Yurov, you know, positioning himself in a good way. It's so much damage again. Now you can see that worker lead. It's basically double.
Yeah, the worker lead.
Yeah, which I think Zakrum knows to kind of play through it at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually just fully commit to an attack. It's like, I gotta try to get something done, because if you keep going forward with this game, it's just gonna keep kind of getting worse and worse. Yurov did start Storm. We'll have access to that full tempo attack soon. A portion of the army out in the middle of the map on the high ground, so it has an advantage, but very split up from the other side of the force, so kind of fighting with half of what he has available. Yurov is still respecting the high ground, you know, knowing that there's no threat at the middle, doesn't really care that much. And he's actually going to take another base over at that 9 o'clock, starting that Nexus finally.
Yeah, it's very good. I'm so glad Europe decided not to go up and charge up that hill, fight that. That was not the play.
Oh, you want to learn how to lose a PvP real quick. Charge up a hill against Druids. You got Storms with Templar, so we'll see if Zakrum engages to a bad fight. Storms will be good. It'll be really helpful against these Reavers as well. But high ground advantage, Europe defending, just staying in a good spot here. Zakrum's one that has to attack here. Templar just out of range against the good Storms here. One of the Reavers goes down. Dragoon's falling left and right as well. Didn't even use them. Oh, Storm's not done yet. I was like looking for it the whole time. Storm's not done yet.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing.
And we got another shuttle over at the natural with a Reaver and a Storm. This is going to be brutal when that finishes up. just really impressive. But Zakrum couldn't fight through again. You see the money just not really being what you want to. Goes for the natural.
He didn't get anything.
The Reaver the Reaver got a little. But that is going to be enough. Zakrum going to tap out of game 1. Well played from both players, but Erov took advantage of that one bad engage that Zakrum had and never let go of control.
Anytime there's harassment in the mineral line now, it's I'm just going to say, you didn't get anything.
You're a monster. I'll just well ahead time be like, there's gonna be a drop, make you watch it. I'll pause the game, make sure you're looking. We're gonna go into that game 2, see if we can get the tied up and go back to game 3, but the way Huron played looked pretty good. Wouldn't be surprised to actually see a different strategy between the two players. You're on a 2-player map, you definitely got more options. And these colors are great. Alright, in the top right, in the purple, it's Ash Zakrum. And the bottom left in the pale blue, it's Zerop.
I think it's okay. It's they're very cool colors.
They are very cool colors, absolutely.
So what kind of game do you think we'll see out here then? What sort of deviations are possible?
I mean, you got a lot of choices, but because it's a 2-player map, you know where your opponent's going to be. I would not be surprised, especially given how things went, to see one of the players respect the option that proxy gates are definitely kind of an option. You can go 2-gate and then go into tech a little bit later. There's nothing wrong with that opening. It causes a lot of chaos for your opponents too if they are not really good at defending it. So if Zakrum wanted to try doing 10-12, getting some 2-gates, some zealot pressure, and then go into tech like normal, I wouldn't really say that's a bad decision at all.
Okay, all right.
But other than that, though, it's not really as much a map dependent thing. Reverse maps definitely will make you want to go for goons a lot more, I think. But other than that, it's going Robo for Reavers, just going like Robo and more gateways to get just observers, trying to get a quicker expansion, commit to being defensive. It's not like a TV2 where it's like losing map controls a nightmare. And even like DTs, even if you like your opponent goes observers, they could still slow down the game. They could still, you know, kind of lead you into getting expansion, not being in too bad a spot. So really got a lot of options from both players on how they want to play. I just don't want to see any crazy all-in that's like super committed, like 4 gateway goon, no observer, like any of that kind of stuff would not be my speed. And as I was saying, hey, this map might be a little bit better. We're seeing the 2 gate opening from both players, so no one's going to be able to really get the big damage done.
Lots of punchy boys fighting in the middle of the map. That's what we're gonna see, huh?
Well, you could. Sometimes you see that. Sometimes you're just willing to be committed to defense, knowing that there's 2 gateways on both sides. Like, it's hard to justify. I'm going to send my Zealots over, because by the time you get there, they had another round of production. They have more than you.
Right.
So it's usually a little hard to justify going for it. Well, we'll see where these players want to go from here. Usually it ends up being a delayed gas into your core, play the normal game. It's just that you had 2 gateway Zealot production to potentially kill some probes, potentially cause a little chaos. You could also do that. There's like an old school way where instead you just build nothing but Zealots and eventually get like a forge and expand behind it just to get the expansion up, and then like the forge is your anti-DT defense. But that has a lot more weaknesses than what we're seeing already from both players, just getting the delayed gas instead.
Alright, so they're both playing along the same exact line here. At what point do they deviate, and how many options are there? Do you go to Robo from here? Do you just go? Can you go straight to DTs from here? Like, what can we do?
If the build was not the same, one of the better options against this kind of 2 gate thing is to actually go DTs, because with the delayed gas, you delay all the tech. So, like, it's hard to get the Robo and the Observer and all that stuff. So, a common response to doing this is actually be willing to go DTs, force them to get the Observers. But considering both players did, a little more taxing. And you can see here, like, this probe scout that Zakram has is not being killed. The Ero's closing out the ramp. He's like, I will eventually kill it. I don't care. You can scout for now. As long as I kill it before it's necessary, it's no big deal. Which, a little bit concerned here, because the Cyber Core is actually notably faster for Zakram, but he's actually cutting some units, again, cutting corners, trying to do what he can, taking a very fast Nexus, thinking that with all things, Erom not going to be willing to move out. So we'll see if that actually pans out the way he's thinking it will.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you've got a probe that's been alive in the base the entire time and you see Zealots that are not moving out, why not take the Nexus right now? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't know what your opponent's trying to do, so you definitely are in a pretty decent spot, and you can even see you're respecting the threat of these DTs, who has the forge available. So, without any kind of scouting info, building a cannon, definitely playing a little bit slower, so just going off the build orders alone, and, oh, can he actually stop Europe from getting vision of this? Europe tried, he does see the Nexus.
So good.
So close to stop that vision, but does actually confirm it, and we'll see, where does Europe go from here? He is going to let the cannon finish, but seeing that fast Nexus, you have options as Erob. He's going to add on the Robo. We'll see if it ends up being for a big attack, or are you just going to accept that you're behind, take the Nexus anyway, no big deal. If you wanted to be attacking, I think we would see another gateway up, so we're going to see the choice very soon.
Okay, so we have Goon range. That's halfway done for Zakram. Meanwhile, Erob, we're not spinning quite yet, so that could turn into an advantage mid-game, yeah?
Absolutely. Having good range over your opponent is a really big advantage if you want to be aggressive. Europe is going to start it knowing it's like you can't let that hang around for too long at this point. Now, Erob has not started the Nexus yet, also did not add on the extra thing, so curious to see where he's going to go from here as this row finishes. All things considered, though, I want to see if he's writing off DTs. Is he going to get the observatory? He's going to get it anyway. So even though he has the forge, even though he has the cannon, wants to be very safe here, Zakram is in a really comfortable spot. He did cut some probes to get everything going, so you can see that's why he's still down on workers, all things considered. But unless Erob can get something done reasonably soon, Scout trying to go and get some information. Like Erob just started Nexus now, just going to eat the loss and be behind, be safer than the opponent.
Yeah, I suppose. That's definitely a legitimate way to play, albeit, you have a mountain to climb.
Yeah. Now, this is a decision that you can see that makes a lot of sense. You're up going for a pretty fast Citadel of a Dune. So, if your opponent, like, this is what I was saying, is like, you can think of your advantages. If your opponent got a faster Nexus than you, and, like, you've invested in some of these defenses, try to make your advantage something else. Like, do you think it's going to be army? Probably not, because you poked in the one zealot, you saw how much was there. Maybe your advantage could be tech. So getting the faster Templar tech, maybe when storms or speed zealots come into play, you have an advantage your opponent doesn't, you can lean into it. So I think that's what we're seeing from Erob. Well, Zachram is just building up very solidly, getting that probe count up. You see it getting a little bit of supply lead, adding on a 4th gateway at this point. And it's still going to be a while for Templar tech. I'm actually surprised to not see any move toward Reaver tech either. This is a pure gateway army, so could be a little bit dangerous, but Zachram wants to be aggressive soon. I don't hate the decision at all.
Yeah, and with that, we see Erob's Observer starting to come into Zachram's space. It's going to reveal a lot, and then we'll see how Erob decides to respond to what he sees.
Yeah,
Get a look at that gateway count.
I mean, he's looking more for tech buildings than anything. It's like, what kits does my opponent not have? Well, no support base, there's no Reavers. No
support bay.
No Citadel, so there's no Templar, there's no Speed Zealots. Yeah, much more robust unit. And you actually look at Erob here, he's actually even just making some DT. He's going to make use of the shuttle, try to cause a little bit of chaos, because if you don't have a lot of observers who are in a bad position, they still one-shot probe. You can put yourself in a really bad spot. One observer for Zachram up at the front, scouting what's going on, but not going to see what's going on at the gateways. The Erob actually adding in 3 more, so like we're going to see a little bit of aggression from Erob here, while the Templar tech is done, working on storms eventually when he gets the money for it. But we're going to see a drop, which he forgot a DT. Oh no!
Oh no, he left the DT. Yeah. He's just going to try to play catch up, I guess.
Oh no. That's really funny though.
So let's see, back in Zachram's space. Okay, he's got an observer there. I mean, once the DTs are revealed, he should be able to clean it up. So this really is going to have to come down to the element of surprise. And right as I say that, the observer and the shuttle intersect.
Yeah, but was Zachram paying attention? It just dropped 1 DT and left.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like it
All
is.
the probes.
Yeah, but where is the observer to go through? All the time we got pulled back, the observer will get there, so we get a little bit of kills. You still disrupted mining timing. It's the cost of 1 DT. It's not a big investment or anything, so didn't go as well as you would want, but again, like, you're causing a little bit of chaos. Erob, again, like, the pro production build gets so much better than his opponent, and this buys time. Storm halfway done at this point. 2 high Templars are done, banking up their energy. And he got these gateways online, so he actually has more production than his opponent now. Zachram is going to move out, though. This is a pretty good decision. I think I like this.
Dark Templar round 2.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
And he's not getting the notifications either, so we really have to pay attention to see when Zachram actually picks up on it. Okay, there he goes, pulls the probes.
That is pretty rough here, but Zachram does have a lot of goods moving forward. Sees the investment DTs, figures that storms are not done yet, which unfortunately he is wrong. It's a very fast Citadel, so he's going to get punished for this. Try to fight through. No speed zealots, but the first storm goes down. It goes pretty good damage here, but the goods do manage to escape pretty well. A lot of Erob's units are going to die from behind some flanks. The second storm does a lot more damage, but still Zachram has lots of goons available. Defender's advantage though for Erob, and that's with so much gateway production back at home here. Everyone's got to make a smart decision if he's going to keep trying to attack. And look, some of these goons are pretty far bruised, but not all of them. Not going to keep overcommitting though, or is he? Cam's going up for Erob, might be able to defend.
Some reinforcements trickling in for Zachram as well that are going to come in, and they might actually make the difference between him breaking here or not, and whether or not the cannons actually get a chance to complete.
Yeah, I think just barely these cannons are not going to get their chance, but reinforcements for Europe going through. Unfortunately, did more things in Archon. I think lost that unit as well, so no storms like trying to bank up energy the best they can. Probes even trying to help as much as possible. The final cannon does go down, but Zachram's army is falling apart pretty quickly here. And all things considered, think about where we're at in this game. He finally defended his attack. The too. Reinforcements are going to go through. We'll see if Defender's Advantage will hold Europe off, but he has a bigger tech lead, and like the supply is pretty much even at this point. If he can get through this without too much issue, he's in a great spot. And there's still that DT in the main. It never actually got killed.
Oh my gosh, I just now saw it. So he tucked that away, and he's going to pull that out and use it again. And Zakrom might not catch it. There's no detection, there's nothing in the main. There's no observer, so he won't see it.
And you can see that Europe did win the fight, gonna repel Zakrom back. So all things considered, like you're down 3 workers, you were up, we'll catch you back
and
up.
Goes
no
that
problem.
DT.
Here comes the DT. Alright, let's see. How many does this one get? Noticed immediately. Zakrom's onto the tricks.
Quick catch.
But still, quick catch, it doesn't stop anything. It's up to 12 kills. It is killing a lot of stuff. Notification actually goes off as it hits Nexus, but you know it's there. It's whatever. That's well worth it.
Probes to 45, 42 now to 45. So we've closed this gap over time. So
here's the big thing. Remember, it's like, what's the advantage? Zakrom's still no Reavers, still no Citadel, still no Templar tech. So Erob just made 7 freaking high Templar. He's gonna have a ton of storms. He has more gateways. He has significantly more tech. And Zakrom tried to sneak a base in the corner. Erob finds it immediately.
This is quite a tense game number 3. 2?
I'm gonna move forward here.
Yes?
What's up?
Never mind.
Third base from Zakrom. Gonna try in a more reasonable spot up at the 12 o'clock. Nothing saw that one just yet, but still. You can just see that the supply for Erob, because more gateways, just really rocking it up quickly. He's even going to take a third base of his own. So, playing very calm and patient here, but Erob's, like, everything about the situation is looking pretty good. Adding up 5 more Templar. When is Templar too many Templar? Unless, I guess they actually making some Archons too. So it's whatever.
Are Archons a really good PvP unit?
They're pretty good, yeah. Depends on like more what's getting made, like because like a Reaver is great against Archons. DTs are good against Archons, but like if it's a lot of Zealots and stuff, Archons, you know, big meat shields, they do some pretty good damage.
Let's see. So then, how many High Templars do you want to have accompanying your army?
Yeah, that's a question I'm not really good at answering. You know, like you want, like storms are very useful, but you know, you just need the ground use to kind of tie things up. Now we got a shuttle over at the Nexus side. He has some storm drops. Great one goes down first. Oh, that's brutal. 12 right away. Immediately goes back into main. Is he going to be able to catch these Dorn and transfer on the ramp? Oh, that'd be insane. Zakrom does try to dodge out the best they can. We can think we get like another 4 or 5. So Yaros Harass doing a fantastic job so far, just making sure Zakrom just the economy never gets a chance to really build up. And look at that army moving in the middle of the map towards that 12 o'clock. Zakrom just tried to make the shuttle even sees it, so knows for sure it's there. Does die, unfortunately, to the Archon, but
he got nothing.
Oh man. Ooh, there we go. 16.
All right. 16. Definitely a Templar worth its weight in salt.
Yeah, they engage right outside the natural for Europe. Gonna keep moving forward. Plenty of Templars still around, and this is where you can really feel the lack of splash damage. Zakrom's not even gonna try to make that fight work. And Erob wins a pretty convincing 2-0. Unfortunately for Zakrom, just small mistakes kind of built up. Cutting probes, you know, delays in tech in the game too. That's this matchup. It's hard. It's a hard matchup, but a very fun one. And Erob just looking super strong here. Gets another one on the board for less attack, giving them the temporary lead so far.
It just looks like such a tense matchup. Like I just.
I mean, you've played the Zerg. It's like ZVZ is really tense too. It's just tense in a different way.
Yeah, but that's like knife fight in a phone booth. Like in the sense that it's super predictable, you know. There's really like 2 avenues that you really do as Zerg, and it's Zerglings and Mutas. And there's some arguments for Hydra play, but
Hydra truther, man. Hydras and spores.
Hydras and spores, man. I mean, for some people make it work. Ask Lightswarm.
I love that. He has a claim to fame for that stuff. We're going to get into our next game here. We'll see how this one goes. Finally, we're out of the mirrors. We're going to go into some normal games. In the bottom right, in the blue Zerg, it is Bojack for 2 Fact, 2 Furious. In the bottom left, in the green Terran, Nom Crowbar. And that is for Lettuce Attack, wearing the team colors brown.
And finally, a matchup I know the most about.
Great, because I don't know shit about it. I still I kind of know some stuff. Kind of know a little bit.
I love this matchup so much. This is my favorite matchup in the game.
Seems reasonable to me. You know, it's what you think of when you think StarCraft. You think about all the great stuff you've seen in the past, like Flash and Soba, Jaedong, and all this stuff. Like, this is the matchup you think of. Although I still, I just do not understand what happened to Goliath build. Like, it was there and then it was gone. I don't know why.
I mean, how do I answer this?
Was there a Zerg build shift that made it good, or they just learned how to deal with it better?
There's a certain shift that Zerg can do where they start producing Hydras, and you can effectively kind of counter it. But it's still a thing. You can still kind of do it. In fact, there's an all-in version where you get armor first on mech. I think you build up to 12, and then you just push out with that as a timing.
Yeah, but it's like, for example, it's like, I know it still works, like, it's still possible. And even, like, Zerg, I've seen a lot of the Zergs, when they fight against it, they were, like, committing to, like, more than a group of mutas, actually getting the air upgrades, like, really investing in them more. And it's like, I know it still works, I just don't see anyone do it. Not like, oh, it's kind of rare now, or it's like, it's, it's not as good. Just like, I can't tell you the last time I got to see one of those games. And it's just like, I don't fully get, like, it's not like there's some whole new thing where it's like, oh, you can't do this anymore, right? It's just, it kind of fell off, and it's weird to me.
Yeah, it mostly just fell off in popularity, I guess. So we see a pretty standard opening here from both players. Zerg going to go ahead and opt for the 2-hatch tech route. We'll see if that's going to be Spire or Hydra Den. Terran also going to be electing to do a gasless expand.
Wait, would it ever actually be Hydra Den on Hatchery Tech? Is that like a real thing?
Well, when I say 2 base tech, that kind of implies layer.
Okay.
So that would develop into 2-hatch lurker.
Sure. Well, you just said Hydra. I'm like, is there some wild thing? Oh shit, that sounds awesome.
That's the tech building, the Hydra Den. You still have to get that to research lurker aspect, you know?
Well, you need to get the lair before anything. The first, gas question is about getting the fast lair. You want to actually get lane speed, and we are seeing the lair on the way now.
258, pretty decent timing. It's going to be confirmed by the SCV that's going to scout it. And for a 2-hatch lurker to be efficiently timed, you'd place the Hydra Den down when the layer is halfway done.
We'll see if we can get the scout out of here, because I feel like you want a little surprise factor. You want to make sure that SCV's not going to just immediately see it, so I don't think if you kill it, you're really committed to it. Is there any kind of indication with the gas, the natural you're looking for? It's like, oh no, this is definitely Mutas.
Well, for a 2-hatch Mutalisk play, it's common to get the extractor at the natural shortly after the layer pops. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. If it were a Mutalisk, it would be Spire Extractor, very close to one another. In timing, that is.
Oh, we'll see as we get there. Crowbar going for 2 Rax Academy, the classic response to the 2-hatch opener. Gives you a lot of flexibility. Make sure you have stim and all your Marines. Oh no. Is he doing this again? Well, we'll see. Give it a minute. Man, you're just getting lost in
Help!
the vape.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
You're getting lost in your vape cloud, man. It's all good. We see a Spire on the way here. 2-hatch Muta as expected. And we'll see. 2-Rax Academy gives you all the tools you're looking for. Shouldn't have any trouble timing that eBay to have turrets on time. Finally, Scout goes down. A little late, but if you figure you got the knowledge you're looking for. Do you have any kind of you're hoping to see? Because I see a lot of people, they'll get just enough mutas to start doing damage, and they try to get it out quick, or they actually get the +1, they invest in them, get a full group. Is there anything that you think is a little bit stronger against these kind of 2-Rax Academy play?
Well, it all depends on how confident you are in your Mutalisk micro and, well, realistically, the turn rate that you're playing in as well. If you feel like you can really get work done with Mutalisks, it's not a bad idea to invest in the upgrades and then continually pump Mutalisks to try to get critical damage, maybe even end the game if Terran doesn't catch on fast enough. But certainly you can also just elect to build just enough Mutalisks to be effective, force the response to be respected, i.e. building missile turrets, and then, quickly go into lurkers from there.
Poking forward just to see if the defense is actually completed. Sunken was done. Ended up losing a Marine for the trouble. And Bojack instead actually taking a third base, but way up in the top right. Way away from Terran. Going to make them actually commit. They're going to try to do it. So maybe we're going to see him take the natural, go a little more drone heavy, a little more of a turtle kind of style as Crowbar getting the turrets up and getting ready for the impending meat attack. Bojack's actually going to get the +1 weapons instead.
Right, so this is all good and standard. Typically, we want to get +1 air weapons on mutas anyway versus Terran if they're going bio. It's just a really efficient upgrade and it's cheap, and there's not really a good reason not to get it. Now, since he's getting the third base up in the top right, tucked up on the high ground, I expect to see a transition into lurker tech relatively soon so that we can actually defend that third base should it get found by Terran.
Seems reasonable. A couple meters moving ahead of the pack towards the main. Does find one turret here, but the 3 meters, I don't think you really go for it. Stem does go through, and meters are going to try to fight, taking a little bit of damage, but managed to get out without doing anything too critical here. Crowbar is ready for this defense. We'll see if Bojack wants to keep adding into it, or where they're going to go from here. And like you were saying, pretty fast lurker tech behind this. That's the hive gen nearing completion.
So it's pretty normal as Zerg here to build up to 11 mutas and then have that as your control group. And you kind of want to fly in and out, look for weak points, try to snipe things off. And we see Bojack doing a pretty good job of that right here, getting a couple workers and then flying out once the Stim Marines come to engage. That's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, just buying a little bit of time, being really annoying. I think he only stopped at 8 meters though, so trying to get out of it a little bit earlier, save up some of the gas, maybe looking to get into a quicker hive tech to get some of those defilers on the field if he wants to be a spread apart, make sure he can defend these bases a little more effectively. Crowbar hasn't, as I said that, it's like he hasn't added on more barracks yet. He's just starting to now.
Yeah, and he'll need that factory to complete in order to get the starports for the irradiate out of science vessels. That's the only way that Mutalisk play is going to stop being effective at this point. Otherwise, Bojack could just continually add in more and more and more. And Mutalisks that are clumped up are just good against everything Terran, except for irradiate. And Valkyries, I suppose. But they can even take head-on fights with Valkyries at times, so, there's a lot of gray area.
Bojack's still trying to get some mileage out of these mutas. Baiting a lot of stims, and more importantly, I think keeping Crowbar back in his base, not on the map, not putting any pressure on, so you don't have to risk putting any kind of investment in your defense. You see Bojack only with the 2 sunkets at the natural. Nothing up at that third base, but the Queen's Nest is done. Hive on the way at this point. And because there's been no character space upgrades, should be for just defilers trying to go into the normal stuff. Maybe a nice canal to connect up to the top side as well. Crowbar really adding in some of the stuff. There's the starport about to finish up, so we'll be moving towards that irradiate, getting the 2 starports, getting all that stuff soon, I would assume. Crowbar's going to have to add on some more barracks as well.
Yep, yeah, your assessment is correct. That's the exact type of game that we're heading into. That will be the late game type play. SK Terran versus the Lurker Ling Defiler type play.
Well, Terran's going to try to move out here, which is an opportunity for Bojack to do some damage, but some of it is coming back. A little force still out on the map here. Still against the wall though. Bojack might be in trouble trying to escape here, but I think there's just enough stuff. Hard to see because of the mini-map, but a lot of turret damage going through. 2 of the mutas die. Some get bruised up as well, and Crowbar has a small group up at the front. And don't know. The lurkers are here, but they're not burrowed. Still 2 things. Scans forward. Decides not to try and test and go through that. There's been enough time, so we got stacked lurkers protecting that third base. Crowbar does not have a big force, so I don't want him to really try and do anything, but I think he's got to poke around, at least get an idea of where he needs to attack.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that this little bioforce that's out on the map is really large enough to accomplish anything. I think we want to probably send this home so it doesn't get caught out on the map, because, Crowbar's not really sure if there's more mutas behind this. We can maybe assume there won't. But if there are, all of this is going to be dead. if it gets found.
Well, this might not be a bad move. You can kind of join up with it, or at least pick it up. Drop should be made out of that first starport. Not rushing straight to the science vessels. What he wants to have drop play kind of enable something, you know, maybe. I think we see like this top right base, something like that, like dropping to avoid the ramp. Seems like a pretty good play. And a Marine does die, try to poke up there, so it gets an idea of what's stacked up at the top of that ramp. Knows to not just walk up that freely.
Right, that'll give him confirmation of where Bojack's third base is going to be at, and therefore the dropship now has a target primed up and ready to go.
Yeah, Muse are going to poke back into the main, see if we can find something. It's also buying time. Consume is on the way, so Defilers will be an option. Nice Canal is being built as well, so Crowbar kept plenty back at home. Crowbar's got to be careful. Stim goes through, takes some pretty big damage, loses 2 more mutas, and that threat is slowly going to start to evaporate if Bojack keeps losing the mutas here. And I'm not sure if he's going to want to actually invest in these anymore at this point. I think you just want to kind of get your lurkers, keep those Defilers produced, and focus on getting this next base up. You can see Bojack has a good amount of money available, but without investing ahead of time, he's like transition to Ultra is just not going to be worth the money. So we'll see where he wants to go from here.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. We'll want to transition out of using Mutalisks at this point. They won't be effective with science vessels out. We just want to focus on getting a Carapace upgrade, rings, and then ultras when we can afford them on 4 gas.
Ooh, we got Stim drop up the top. He's going to rush down to kill that Nidus before anything goes through. It does do so. No defense here. Just drones ready to die. No move of the lurkers up at the ramp either, so Bojack unfortunately just going to take a lot of big damage here. That dropship paying for itself very heavily, even if these Marines don't do anything. And actually sees the Ultralisk Cavern, so trying to go through. Does get these things off the ramp and a couple mutas go, but like the amount of drone kills Crowbar just got with that drop was well worth the cost of this small group. And you see he's still trying to get a little bit more. He's actually going to kill off these mutas as well.
This was a fantastic strategic move with great initiative by Crowbar. It's absolutely what you want to do. You want to think so dynamically in situations like these. You know, you kill a couple of Mutalisks, okay, dropship play becomes available now because there's less that Zerg has, you know, to deflect that.
Oh, this Overlord's so low. Come on, kill it, man. Oh, he's actually in a perfect spot where he can actually just hit the hatchery freely.
And he's going to, and probably take it out. Okay, lurkers do respond.
And will finally kill this off. Did a lot of free damage though. Bojack made a lot of cracklings. They're moving on the map to the top right, so if the lurkers weren't enough, that's gonna be helpful. But look at Crowbar. He's finishing up these vessel upgrades. Got a couple building up a lot of energy here, and a big bioforce. He's gonna move towards the natural. He did so much damage up to that top right, and without the Nice being there, it's going to be hard to kind of get back and reinforce. Is it going to be something you can realistically go through up this natural? Like, is there any lurkers here? I don't see any. Oh no.
So,
oh no.
The big issue here is that Terran's already basically at the nat, and we're balled up.
Yes, I'm going to go through. The Scourge trying to do what they can. They kill one vessel, but that's not really enough here. Radiant goes down to the Defiler, so there's no Dark Storm available here. Just going to power through. No Lurkers, only 2 Sunkens. And it's going to melt through this so quickly at this point. Actually backing off. Doesn't want to go first. I guess the Sunkens are that strong? Interesting.
Nope, it's the lurkers. There are 5 lurkers burrowed, stacked up underneath that Overlord.
Oh, that is brutal.
Play.
God,
yes.
That's brutal. That's such a cheap move.
It's, yeah, it is. It's pretty dirty.
Kill some more Scourge trying to go for these vessels. Burns in a Radiate on an Overlord. Think, you know, just get what you can if you got the energy to burn anyway. But Crowbar is going to reinforce a lot here. Like, tanks the move here. Bojack's making 10 Ultralisk, which I don't think he's got a lot of Ultralisk upgrades. That does not feel like the path to victory, but ooh, play goes down. That's going to definitely help out a lot here as he go forward. So he's going to force him to try to go in here, but he's taking so much damage. Oh, no.
That is so nice. Pulls in the whole party with aggro, forcing a lot of bio losses. Wow. Holy Ultralisk. All right.
Yeah, they're going to go through here. That play did do a lot of damage, and the Ultra, at least, they still do a lot, even though they're a little bit on the soft side of getting a Radiate, so they're going to kill the bio even faster. You know, honestly, all things considered, Bojack's they managed to defend this, didn't lose the natural. We've got some time to reestablish what's going up at the top right, and cracklings around the map now, so Crowbar gotta be careful, reconsolidate their forces, and supplies even, so Zerg can't be terribly upset.
No, this is a pretty good commanding position for Zerg to have Ultralisks out. Now, the Irradiates need to come out here, and we see that coming from Crowbar, so this is the effective counter, and we need to do this ahead with initiative before they collapse onto the Marines, the bio back at home. Because as you said, they become much more effective.
Yeah. The audacity of this expansion for Crowbar as a 6, like, the Zerg's been everywhere around it, but not actually in the 6, so we'll see when that actually does get discovered. It'll be a little bit unfortunate. Bojack is going to take their next base up at the top right, securing that natural as well. And Crowbar making sure they at least don't get the third. I think that might be the initiative where it's like, oh, I got to move out, I got to start trying to do something about this. But we'll see where Bojack goes from here as they keep making more Ultralists. They got the ground army. And, you know, they got the filers with all the tech they're looking for. Should be in a pretty good spot. Scourge find the base. They fly over. Kills a bunch of Scourge, but the information is so valuable.
Yeah, and we see, ooh, the majority of Crowbar's army going to be moving down into position here. Wipes out the entire Zergling force, and I'm not sure about pushing uphill against this. Lots and lots of vessels, though. That cloud is huge. Bojack needs to find a way to deal with that, or else that could be a game changer.
Is doing such a good job here, even with the lurkers that don't get irradiated. So managing to do what they can. Things trying to stream in, help, but like you need the ultras to kind of buffer some of this stuff. The next armor we did finish, so they're a little more robust, a little harder to deal with. Though we got, I think it's 2 armor, 2 weapons, so on the same footing for now. Crowbar is going to finish +3 weapons soon, so they have a pretty big window. But Crowbar's ground army, a lot of it died. I think most of the medics did as well, so the Ultras do sneak through, manage to get to 6 o'clock, and they're going to start doing damage. It looks like SV is forced to evacuate.
Yeah, with these Ultralisks here, if they commit to it, that will be a liftoff on that CC. At least I hope so. But it looks like they're going to chase them all the way up the ramp. Okay, do back off. And meanwhile, we're securing a 4th base for Zerg. Now, this is really important as the gas is done too. Once Bojack starts mining that, it really puts a clock on Terran.
I mean, also look at the workout. Bojack's been ahead on drones for quite a while, so it was the plan from the beginning when he took that top right base. And see Crowbar, he's moving out a Marine medic up to the top side. I don't know if he's like hoping there's something there, or he's kind of taking a guess at it. These dropships are going to move across the top, going to go right back to the main, and we saw how effective that first drop was. We'll see if this ends up being another one. And it looks like that CC down to 6 did get lifted. It's low enough where you can irradiate and kill that Ultra, but Bojack going to keep putting some pressure on. Drop's going to move into the top right.
This drop is unexpected, so it's going to do critical damage here. We see raining down Marines and just frying everything alive.
I am a little surprised to not see the rush towards the Knights like we saw the first time, Urge, and making sure you kill the Ultra Cavern. Gets the drone kills, which is absolutely nice, but we've managed to clear this out. Kills an Extractor. The Ultra Cavern lives, though. Oh, no.
Okay, but he picks up the Bioforces, so it doesn't lose a lot of them.
Ooh, radiates down at the natural as well. Big eraser time.
Oh, but Bojack catches on, and Scourge come in. Alright, a little inefficient, but effective.
Yeah, didn't do as much as you were hoping for, but one of those dropships with 4 Marines gonna head into the main.
And go. No response from Bojack, losing a lot of drones here.
Yeah, that drone lead I was just preaching up a minute ago. That has disappeared so quickly.
Okay, we get that cleaned up, but Bojack on 22 drones versus 46 SCVs.
Yeah. Now,
Clutch sheer pearls.
Now, you do gotta remember, Crowbar, not with a lot of money, about to mine his natural, did not secure that 6. Remember, it's still lifted at this point, and Bojack's going to take a base up at the top left instead, so we do have Crowbar with a really big army, did a great job macroing, but he does need to secure another base. I don't think you can keep just putting the pressure on Bojack. At some point, like, you gotta think about your next step in case Bojack can hold on. You know, the filers can work their magic, so hopefully will Crowbar make the right move, and he's got so much army. I think he says, I'm just gonna attack and kill him. Like, he's gonna leave, right? I can kill him.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. The entire game is probably going to come down to this giant push down here at the natural. Crowbar's going to move in, stim up the Marines. We'll see what he can get done. It all comes down to this.
And this is right before level 3 armor for Zerg is going to finish, so this is a great window where the BIOS adds strongest. Bojack has so much stuff outside the Terran natural, but not coming back to help retreat and kind of deal with this. Actually going for a counterattack instead. Crowbar, still plenty of army available, going to keep pushing through. Bojack's army that's trying to do the counterattack, getting distracted. It's not really a lot of lings, so like ultras will kill things, but how fast are they going to actually do it? Crowbar, not fully committed to his attack, but it's still doing massive damage.
Okay, we have the Ultralisks now in the main base. Crackling and Dark Swarm. This is a problem we have to clean up. But how?
Crowbar's still doing a lot of damage, but look at that money, man. He cannot afford to be losing these like CCs or anything. He's got to do a great job. Still has plenty of vessels available. Reinforced Bojack going to move through. Think about how much money Bojack still has, and remember that Ultralisk Cavern that didn't die earlier might be proven really critical here. So much damage is going down in the main. Ultras will pop. They do have their full armor, so they're going to be hard to kill. And the medics are nowhere near the Marines. The medics are chilling in the mineral line, not helping. Oh, no. Brutal.
And with that, Terran gets slaughtered, cleaned up. Zerg takes the rest of the map, and the siege in Terran space continues.
Yeah, and again, I was like, Crowbar so far ahead. How could this happen? Like, how is Bojack going to win this one? Made the right call to take the trade, and Crowbar, I don't know if it was just because of those medics, but that attack just couldn't fight through the reinforcements, couldn't fight through the bank Bojack had, and he's doing so much damage here. And look at Crowbar now, like he's got the 6 o'clock base, that's it? That's all he's got?
Yeah, I think we're looking at the ending of this saga, unfortunately. Good final stand from Crowbar, though. Impressive bout of macro. Definitely on display. Very impressive.
Crowbar setting more stuff in to kill the job. I'm surprised he's not actually looking for that other base, because, like, if Crowbar's still in this game after you've done this much damage, you don't see anything Maya, you gotta be thinking something's up.
Oh, I love that. Irradiating the science vessel and floating that and using it as a weapon. Like erasing.
I would get Crowbar to tap out of this game. Just lings are too much damage, even with the 6 not found. That's going to give Bojack the first win of this set, so, you know, maybe we get another one that goes to game 3, but impressive play from both players. I really thought Crowbar was in a much better spot with the lead he had, but that fell apart really quickly. Just unbelievable from both sides to stay in it as hard as they did.
Well, and that just goes to show you the true fragility of the matchup in both ways. Terran is fragile to Zerg, and Zerg is fragile to Terran.
Yeah, it's as you go through the phases of the game, it's just a lot of ways to lose. I feel like that's most of the matchups in this game, but definitely taken to like an 11 for this one. But back on Eclipse, we'll see if it goes a little bit differently here, if we're going to see the same kind of stuff from these guys. In the top right, in that blue Zerg, it's Bojack. In the bottom left, in the green Terran, it's Nam Crowbar.
Excuse me, sir. That's navy blue.
It's blue. It's a blue. I didn't.
It's navy.
Oh no. Like, I got the art student to be like, no.
I'm calling the cable company.
So it's the third one, and they've all been exactly 10 seconds.
Why did this just started happening? I had a perfectly clean cast yesterday. Not one interruption.
It's that vape cloud, dude. You're partying up on your Wednesday night. I get it.
Bro, all the THC's getting up in the router. Man, can't believe that stuff's legal now. What a crazy world we live in.
I still don't know like all the rules for it. It's not something I have an interest in, so it's like I like go to the beach
just...
and I could smell it. And I'm like, so we just do that now, huh? That's just what we do now. Which is weird to
And
me.
yeah, I mean, depending on where you're from, it can be legal to just get the flour and do that. But I mean, what I do is just hemp derived.
Hmm. Well, whatever works. Whatever gets you there is not really a problem.
It's a good time. All right, so what do we got here? Nice 12 hatch opening for Bojack, very standard. And a wall off from Crowbar. Cool. That could turn into something cheeky with gas. Could also just be safe.
Yeah, it could be. Now, usually the wall off is like some kind of gas, some kind of tech opening, but like Crowbar's play in the first game felt great the whole way through. It's not like there's like, oh, like he mishandled his bio, like he didn't know what he was doing. Like everything the way about how he was playing looked good. So if he does switch into a gas opening and just if he has that kind of breadth of builds, that'd be pretty awesome. But I just hope he doesn't feel like, oh, I need to switch, because that game was just like one or two bad engages and like Bojack making one good decision. Look at that early gas. We're getting a different style.
Yeah, I agree. Everything looks pretty crisp. It can come down to, small things, a small engagement. All of a sudden it turns into a big deal. Like losing that actually costs you the game. This matchup really is that sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes from here. And we're in a bunker rush. I don't know if there's any real threat behind this, but at least we're going to make some drones pull it down. If you can stop that, just, be a little bit annoying, buy yourself some time. All that seems to be pretty reasonable here. I see two Marines move across. Is it realistic? He's actually going to be able to finish this bunker? Not the
It's
fake?
realistic. This needs to actually be treated with respect because if it finishes, it's going to be a massive headache in which Bojack's gonna have to make a lot more Zerglings than he wants.
Oh, look at this one. The drone micro does surround one of the Marines, does manage to kill it, but the other one's still alive at this point here. Bunker to finish, gets in just barely. It still has a couple of links, so doing any really critical damage here. I think managed to handle it without going too overboard, but Crowbar, getting the reaction out, throwing your opponent off the game, that in itself could be good, and it does buy time. That factory has a good amount of production on the way through, still mining gas, so if it's a 1-1-1, I'd be thrilled. That'd be so cool. I feel like that's another build I have not seen in a while, but at CPL level, it could definitely be hard to manage.
I get your hopes up too much, but it could also be a two-port Wraith opening.
It could be. And Bojack has an idea what they want to do. They're going Lair, and they've got a Hydra Den behind us.
Very cool. All right, so we'll see some two-hatch lurker play. And with the 1-1-1 style opening, well, we'll just assume it's going to be a starport. And it is. All right. We'll still need
Hey,
some
there you go.
source of
Look at
detection.
that.
Oh, all right, two-port Wraith, baby. Here we go.
Alright, very interesting switch up, which I feel like if you have a good stable bio game, like how often do you really practice your two-port Wraith? This is a very interesting opening, and I feel like this is actually going to go quite well, because we got the Lurker tech on the way. You're going to maybe be a little hard-pressed to deal with some of the options, but you're going to get starports done, so you're not going to be too far from science vessels, and you could probably deal with this, I would imagine, the same way that Protoss deals with this kind of stuff. It's just, if you're killing a lot of overlords, like, there's no supply to make these lurkers. So you're not really under any massive threat.
That's right. We could kind of treat this as a sort of DT-style rush. And, with DT rushes, if you scout it, it does nothing, right? Like, you just know what to do. But if you don't scout it and don't know it's coming, it just kills you. The two-port Wraith is kind of like that.
We'll see what the adaptation is. No control towers, so no rush to get the cloak online right away. It's just going to use the raw power. One Vulture did kill a scouting lane, going to kind of poke around, see if he could find this third base. Bojack taking it a lot closer than what we saw in the last game. It makes a lot of sense on this map, and getting a Spire here as well, so, maybe smelling something's up, wants to make sure they have access to Scourge or Mutas if they need it. The first Wraith is now on the map, not waiting for buddies, just going to immediately try to get some damage done. But there's already Hydras, like, made. Oh, no.
Yeah, and I think these Hydras were probably intended to be lurkers, but once the Wraith gets shown, I think Bojack will probably switch gears and start upgrading the Hydra stuff.
Yeah, well, he hasn't researched lurker tech either. Maybe waiting for a little bit at the moment. Vulture does shots.
Oh, no, he did. I caught it.
Oh, he does have lurker all the way?
Yep.
Oh, cool. And the Wraiths are going to start getting their Micron. So, reveal is going on. Bojack making some drones behind. So, he's actually going to take a worker lead. Note that Crowbar not only doesn't have a CC, doesn't even want started yet. But will get Cloak. Just, again, as annoying as he can be, you find a good opportunity to do some big damage here. And it's definitely a weird style you probably don't have a lot of practice against as Bojack. Ooh, yeah. I love that decision. Burrow, that's so smart. That is so smart here.
That's one of the typical responses from Zerg. And the reason is because, it forces scans out of Terran, which you can't get easily if you've opened 111. You just protect your drones by burrowing them, no problem.
Yeah, and actually investing in Mutas, so these Hydras, no upgrades at all, not really doing anything. But they are a nice little bit of anti-air, just enough. You don't have to go too crazy here. And we're going to see Crowbar try to find a little angle. If he can get a couple kills, he's going to start working on these drones, but the Mutas are about to hatch. And
oh no, Cloak isn't done.
Cloak is not done. Bojack's got that moving shot. Spreads him out the best he can, but yeah, at this point, you got Cloak, but you don't have a lot of race left over. This is not great, and he's still right by the Overlord. Oh no.
Oh no, he sends the Wraiths back in, but there's actually an Overlord there. I wonder if he missed that.
This opening from Crowbar not going as planned here. Actually kind of audibling in, getting siege mode and tanks, trying to keep things going best they can. Still making these wraiths as well, though. So
yeah, this is fully committed. This will be an all-in, the last push from Terran.
I feel like, though, at this point, like, as Bojack, you got the Ling. You know they have no expansion. Like, you have 3 bases. You could just, if you survive, you're good, right?
Basically, yeah. That's the story. And we can even see that Ling in the natural burrowed now. That's going to be really irritating.
Oh, man. That's rude. Fast Overlord's even going to move out here. Got all the upgrades you need to help deal with this. And big investment in these mutas at this point, which you got to imagine there's no really good anti-air here. As we see, like, Goliaths are not that many Marines. Trying to move out here. Mutas are going to shut down that bunker from going. But here come Cloak Wraiths. Got to deal with the Overlords, though. So Crowbar got to figure out what the option is going to be, as now Mutas Tech going to keep adding on and start lurkers as well.
Oh, he didn't get lurkers? Oh, I totally lied to you. I'm so filthy.
It's all good. It happens to everyone. I'm like, that's what I was just thinking. You're so confident, man. I was like, I don't remember seeing it.
He must have canceled it. I know I saw it. I know I did. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this now. I'll kick myself so bad.
It's all good, no problem. But you can see Crowbar trying to bunker up in here, like really defending this front part here. Wraiths do not have Cloak available, still has to deal with how many mutas are here. More than a group worth. Managed to kill off one of the Overlords, so gonna back off. But every time you're going into that Cloak, you are burning a lot of the energy. Gotta be very careful how you're doing this. And Bojack, while being supply blocked, still working on a lot of drones, up on workers, still got these 3 bases, and just everything we're seeing here is looking really good for Bojack. It's just, I can't imagine a world where these Wraiths can do enough damage where it's like, oh no, Bojack looks like they're in trouble.
Yeah, as long as Bojack continues to play the straight and narrow here and just macro up, should remain in a commanding position, as long as he just doesn't throw away the lead.
Like this we saw here, Armory finished up, so we can start adding on some Valkyries. That'll definitely help this out a significant amount. Though Valkyries can be a little tricky to use, so we'll see how that ends up going. Lurkers are burrowing on site at the natural, so the move out will even then be more delayed. Comset finally being made as well, so that'll be 1 scan worth. Not great. It's not awesome.
Definitely not ideal, no.
Not ideal. I mean, you're against starports. I'm surprised it's not just like a science vessel.
Okay, so he's got 6 Wraiths, 1 Valkyrie. Alright, that's nothing to scoff at. It's now contendable with those Mutalisks, so Bojack might need to start being a little bit more careful. Might want to check on the composition of Terran if you can.
I mean, it's still up a significant amount of supply. It's still just macroing out 42 drones at this point. Your opponent's been on 1 base, it's 11 minutes in. You're not feeling bad about this situation at all. And that scan was used, so it confirmed there is a burrowed Ling. So it's going to be a long time for that CC can land, and You see Bojack starting to reinforce. A lot of Hydra's going to move forward here. With the siege tanks, though, you'd have to be very careful.
Right, and we're going to missile turret crawl our way over to the natural. It's just kind of what we have to do at this point.
All because of 25 minerals of the Ling. Bojack even going to take the opportunity. Another drone moving up to the top left. Like, this sounds like a great opportunity to take that double gas. Like, he's not going to get punished for a significant amount of time, so I do not hate the decision. Just Bojack buying time, being hyper annoying. But the air fleet is going to move out. Here comes the engage. Valkyrie's going to do some pretty big damage here. Are there enough mutas to deal with this? They spread out pretty decently. The Valkyrie's trying to help the best they can. The cloaked race, there's no detection. They stay alive, and that muta force evaporates very quickly here. Good move from Crowbar to eliminate a threat finally.
Oh, and the scan goes down, and we get some free picks on lurkers here.
I mean, how fast do race kill lurkers if they're burrowed? I wouldn't call that a free pick.
Very.
Yeah, not particularly great.
I was being hopeful.
Alright, but during all this time, the mutas did go down, which is unfortunate. But Hive Tech is done. Defilers are done as well. You can start working on Consume, and you can see Crowbar's going to try to move out. He got some Cloaked Race still. 5 still does pretty decent damage. Whatever you can do, just morph the Hydras into Lurkers. They'll never die.
Okay, so we see the air fleet here moving down, just trying to get some scouting done. And just trying to clear our way through this natural here. Lay some mines down even. Oh my goodness. This one lurker.
Still alive. It's not actually blocking the CC, though. If you need the moral victory, it's not actually blocking the CC.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so this vulture's going to find top left. That's going to be really good.
Airfleet's going to go over to the 12, but a lot of Hydra there waiting to do the damage, so unfortunately lose a couple areas, unfortunate. A couple factories being added on, so Crowbar converting into like the full mech, I assume.
Yeah, it'll try to be a mech transition. It's going to be a very slow rollout, so Bojack should try to get a peek on this, and if you can, just take expansions.
It seems like he's
build up some queens, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's already ahead taking that top left base, but like you said, the vulture found it, so knowledge is there. The air fleet is going to move out. Not that they're going to kill hatcheries very quickly, but final Ling that was going to scout that 9 o'clock base still has not landed the CC. The main is like almost mined out. You have to eliminate this crap, and finally a vessel gives you the detection you need.
There we go. They didn't get the Ling at the 3rd base either. They got nothing.
They killed the lurker at the natural. They're killing stuff at the top left base. The Bojack doesn't even mind for it. I don't think he really cares that much. And look, here comes a big move out. Lots of Hydras, but if it's just Hydras, siege tanks are good. How many Hydras do you need where the siege tanks don't just destroy them? We're about
There's
to
a
find
Defiler
out.
in there too.
There is a Defiler in there. Plague's about to finish up as well.
It's sitting at 88 energy. We'll have to do some consuming. And also just one? Yeah.
I guess just one, huh? Mine's being laid is going to slow things down. Bojack got to be very careful how he wants to engage. Might just be setting up for a soft contain. You don't have to really rush into this if you don't want to. He's got plenty of money built up as well, so might be seeing, you know, that ultraless transition we saw last game at some point. We're going to get some info. Lings explode to a mine. Unfortunate.
And now we have this really nice concave of Hydras that's just completely constricting unit flow away from Crowbar. Nice contain going down. But a lot of mines being laid, so any push into that, it's going to be real slow. Siege tanks starting to move into position. There's a good amount of them too.
The one Vulture and 3 Race did finally kill that top left hatchery.
Wow, well there you go.
Here comes the big move. Lots of Ling's going to help support. Piler's going to move up as well. Not being immediately targeted. No Irradiate to kind of help out with that, at least right at the moment. The Darkstorm's going to go through. D-Matrix goes in, and You know, Darkstorm could be a double-edged sword with all these Hydras. Gotta be very careful about where you place them.
Yep, that tank is actually in the Dark Swarm, I think so. But the Zerglings are going to clean that up. And these tanks on the high ground, I don't... They might actually be able to clean all this up, surprisingly.
I hate
Well,
this.
with the Swarm, maybe not.
hate this, that this defense went as well as it did. I hate this so much. Legs are going to go through. They got the crackling upgrade. There's only a couple tanks left. Bojack, it looks like they are going to break through. The Crowbar did find a base over in the bottom right, so not doing anything about it at the moment. He's got to deal with staying in the game, and unfortunately, Bojack finally gets enough to go in. Man, Crowbar just got a second base too. Unfortunate, but that's Bojack taking a clean 2-0 victory.
Yeah, once the cracklings showed up, that was basically the deal. I mean, that's it.
Another one on the board for Two Furious. So we got the 2-2, man. It's going for as far as tier 1 goes. We're going down to the last game. A nice little PVT to close us out.
Well, I know a little bit about PVT. As I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, I just hope it's, you know, I like the matchup to play, and it's fun, but, you know, the beginning sometimes can be a little stale. We'll see how this one goes. We're going to get into our final game of the night. Last one for Tier 1 as well. And introduce the players. Last time on Good Nights, they did top versus bottom. Cool, we're going to go to that. In the bottom right, in the red Protoss, it's Suricata representing Team 2 Furious. In the bottom left, in the blue Terran, it's Amazon 3000 for the lettuce attack.
What do you know about these players?
Damn near nothing. I'll be completely honest.
Okay. Me neither. I don't.
All right.
In the regular season, I played Amazon, and he beat me pretty good, so he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, that's a name I've recognized. It's been around at least for a little while. It feels like it changes a little bit between seasons, but definitely know them to be around. And this has also been one, you know, we could kind of just see how things go, because compared to, like, you know, like a PvZ, PvP, ZVT, all those, I feel like this matchup, there's a lot less stylistic going on. Like, I feel like it's hard to argue, like, playing against something that's kind of very stable and standard, just because you just need stuff. This matchup needs stuff.
Well, I feel like Protoss has a lot of options, but I feel like Terran really has like two.
What are the Protoss options that aren't I'm going Arbiters or I'm going Carriers? And you need at least 3 bases to effectively really do either.
You could go Speed Shuttle style.
Yeah, I guess you could. I feel like you don't see that in CPL very much. It's very flimsy. It's very difficult to manage.
Micro-intensive, really.
And it's like, how do you argue with the power of, like, well, I could just make all these carriers and it's awesome. Or it's like, I could just stasis your army and just make you want to punch your keyboard.
Yeah, just stick with the stasis. It's uber effective. There's no reason not to just go Arbiter all the time.
Yeah. At least I do think a lot of the maps that we had in the CPL pool this season, carriers are a very viable option. So, you know, a little more variety in that thing, but yeah, like, you don't really see any of the really aggressive stuff early. I feel like even in this matchup, you don't see, like, too much Proxy 99. Everyone knows how to micro and build their SimCity to help deal with it, so you gotta just see, like, some more stable stuff, which once you get past the early game, it's not a problem. Just the early game, you know, it's hard to figure out what to talk about when I've seen this opening 50 times now. Do I talk about the Cybercore? I guess.
It's a very aged matchup. Not bad.
Again, it's exactly 10 seconds every time. It's crazy.
That's so weird.
It's like the game 1 in the series, and it's exactly 10 seconds. It is the weirdest thing. Now, Probe did some damage to an SCV. Didn't actually get a kill though. Marine's gonna chase it out. Stayed around to at least get the information you're looking for. Did they take guys off the gas as Terran? usually indicates a nice little expansion, so Suricata has some information to play with here. I don't believe they made an early Zealot, just going straight for the Goon, so we'll see if they rush for any of that nice Dragoon range. Seems like that's going to be on the way as well, so stable openings from both sides so far. We could play the game where we predict the future, if it's going to be Robo, 3 gates, get observers, third base, blah blah.
Okay, I think early Nexus.
Like early third Nexus? Because the expansion for Protoss will be coming up soon as you build the money to do it. You can see it's coming up here. It's really after this, but even at this point, it's like, you got your scout chased out. It is so hard to argue why you... Oh no, the Goon let the SCV out. Please kill it. It walked into a corner. Do not let it live.
There you go. Okay, I'll make a prediction then. I think we'll probably get 2 more gateways and a Robo.
What a bold prediction.
Indeed.
Ooh, Refrigerator saying maybe they go for a 2-base push. That'd be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but it just... Actually, you know what? Good night. Maybe. I don't want to play a longer game on Good Night as Protoss here. Against Terran, like, it feels like navigating through the map can be a bit of a problem. It's like your third base, I guess, like, you take the 3. That doesn't feel great. Eventually it will become more of a problem. CC, built on the high ground, Amazon. Comfortable taking a little bit of loss just for the safety. We'll move it down when it's good and ready. You see, has the tank up and available. Siege mode about halfway done at this point.
Okay, so 2 gates and a Robo. 2 gates and a Robo walk into a bar.
Siege mode's about to finish, so I think the fun we're seeing with these goods will end pretty quickly. Iris is going to take a little bit of damage, but nothing's going to really come from it. And we'll see if there's going to be the fast move to the third, and I guess more notably where the third for Protoss will actually want to be taken.
I know in this matchup, typically it's taken early, relative around 9 minutes, I think.
That was a cute little move. Actually, really being aggressive with the Marines to keep vision to make sure both those guys died from the 2 tanks. That's a nice little tactic.
Yeah, super cool.
And actually, ooh, look at this. Suricata wants to liven up our lives. Robo Support Bay. Is this going to be your speed shuttle that you predicted, or is this going to just be for fun Reaver play? It could be both. I feel like Reaver play would have been a little bit earlier, so, you know, it might be that speed shuttle style, which... If you can play, kudos, but man, it is difficult to not just get yourself killed.
Well, we'll see. All right, shuttle loading.
And we got the probe moved over to the 3, so that should be the next Protoss base when it gets settled in. Amazon is all set up nice up at the front. No bunker up at the front, so if there is any kind of crazy aggression, you know, that won't be around to help slow it down. But an armory on the way, I assume factories will be added on soon enough. And it's you know, we'll see where they want to go from here. How many factories they're going to add will really indicate what they're going to be trying to do.
I like the securing at the 3 o'clock with the pylons, anti-vulturing.
It's a Reaver, yes. Awesome.
Excellent. Most excellent.
This is exciting. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen like Reaver as like a main part of your build like this. Now, if it is just the one just for harass, you know, make them invest in some anti-air, get an idea what's going on. It's a free scout also instead of the observer, so I don't hate anything about what we're seeing here. And it's probably going to be able to come at a good point where Amazon has to commit to how many factors they want to use, so everything seems pretty reasonable. The third for Protoss did get scouted by this SCV, so they know what's going on here. You're going to walk to a wall of goons, though, and not get any more information after this.
Ew, I said 9 minutes before. Yeah, 7:30 seems a little bit more normal-ish, I guess. Okay, so that shuttle's on the move with the Reaver and 2 Zealots.
As you do. Makes sense. Now, we'll see if Amazon can sniff this out. There is a turret, but that's not going to be enough to actually kill the shuttle, so it should lock in the shuttle. Like, you're going to be committed to doing this, but if you're going to do it, I think you're planning to just let that happen regardless. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see where it finally goes from here when it's done. Robo now inactive at this point, adding on gateways and a Citadel, so not going too crazy, looking like they're just getting the one up to Templar Tech. Adding on, going up to 5 factory at this point, and the shuttle's going to fly in at just the right time. Because it's not moving full speed, it's just going to turn around, so no harass going down, up to 6 factories. Did Zerg see the 6th one? I'm not sure.
Okay, so gotta respect the turnaround on that shuttle. Didn't end up losing anything of value, so we could still use the shuttle with all of its contents with our main army, which is what we see Surikata doing.
Yeah, you do. One of the things that will help you against some of these Terran pushes you might see is that Reaver staying alive. So, not being irresponsible going for the big harass, I do appreciate that decision, but getting some of the info anyway. Now, Amazon is gearing up pretty hard here with no science facility on the way. This +1 weapons probably as far as they're going to go, and then gear for a nice big push. But Surikata, you've seen enough, I hope, where you have the idea, but you gotta be very careful because there's no map presence. Nothing's gonna help slow this down, like no goons to kind of walk it through and buy you some time. If it just rolls up into your base, and especially if you split up some of your forces to guard this third, you could be in a lot of trouble very quickly.
Yeah, I'm a little worried too. Like, we know that there's not mines on the map, but there very well could be. And we have the observatory, but I don't see any observers.
Yeah, I feel like I have not seen observers been made. I didn't know if that was just me being crazy, but yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. And also because it stopped for this Reaver for a support bay, it's delaying this Arbor attack. So like stasis, there's no world stasis ready for this push if it happens, and Zerg is getting a what the fuck, Corsair? What you doing?
Oh, I know what that's for. That's to bait the turrets so that the shuttle can get in.
Actually, that's sick. That's a cool move. I don't think I've seen that in a while, so we'll see what it goes for. But Amazon's got the army. It's got +1, and it's moving out. This is very strong, and like I said, Zerg doesn't see it coming. No way to slow it down. It's just going to roll up to his natural. And yeah, you can see the shuttle still has the stuff in it. If he moves out to go for the harass, it is not going to be back at home for the defense. These pylons actually cause a problem too if he gets locked on the wrong side of them. Oh no.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and find out right now. A couple of tanks are gonna siege up here, and if Amazon gains a foothold right here outside the natural, ooh, that's gonna be tough to deal with.
Alright, well you do got a couple of these zealots in there, but a lot of these tanks are not unsieged as well, going to help out. Dropping the Reavers, trying to do the damage they can. Vulture is going to reinforce. Immediately the Reaver has been killed. Most of the Gateway army is gone as well. A couple tanks survive, but the Vultures are going to help out tremendously here as a support as they manage to clear out Surikata and lock him into his natural. What does his shuttle have to help out here? He's got some zealots.
2 zealots.
It's trying. But I don't know, a couple of these tanks still alive here. Reinforcements are going to keep going through. There's stuff back at home? No. I think this is all the tanks. If you can keep these alive, which he's got some SUVs to help repair, Natural has to get mostly evacuated at this point. So Amazon's push so far doing great damage. Then the Vultures in the main too. Oh, this is going so well for Terran.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything left to answer. All those zealots just got wiped out from that minefield. Really impactful. There's still siege tanks ready to continue the siege. There's more vultures coming in. Amazon's starting to build. There's a turret going up. Alright, but as we look at that, a lot of zealots start to come down.
It's still Vultures are still going to help out pretty well here. You know, it gets to some of these siege tanks. If you can just buy yourself some time, but still a lot of damage has already been done here. And actually, okay, starport going on. Amazon realizes it probably is not going to end the game at this point. Going to try to transition into getting their science facility, keep those upgrades going maybe, or you know, possibly just getting dropships and trying to go crazy. That third base only has a couple cannons really defending it, and it's locked off a pylon. So if you get in there with a drop, you know, you can do as much damage as you want.
Boy, I'd really like to see 3 SCVs actually mining the gas at the natural for Amazon.
Oh no. Oh no. I think he grabbed those with the attack, because there's a lot that was mined.
Oh, he's missing out on so much gas right now, though.
Yeah. Not particularly great, but still this attack doing a lot of damage. third CC is going down as well, so Amazon does have plans to extend this game further. Zerg has to figure out how to reestablish this natural. And we'll see where it goes from here. Got a Reaver. Not making a second run or anything, and peeling up towards that 3 o'clock base. The 2 cans should be enough to defend this against the vultures, but the tank is also here.
Yeah, the tank is going to be the issue. As long as we get vision of the high ground here, that tank should be able to clean up those cannons. We don't really want to use the vultures though, because the cannons will kill all of them, so maybe just scans.
Alright, here's the big move out. Arbiter's here to help with the cloaking field, no energy for a stasis. Stasis is researched though, it's just going to be a little bit of a while. Speed Cells tried to move forward, but there's too many vultures. So they didn't manage to get through. A couple of guns are still around. Buying time, these turrets taking so much damage as the tank's just firing freely at this point. So unfortunately, this did not go the way you wanted Surkai as you try to break out here. What's going on with that third? Managed to kill one of the cans. Vultures are even going to go up there just to get the vision, trying to get that fully eliminated if they can. And does.
And a scan
finally,
for it.
Finally.
So yeah, we just need to punch a hole in this pylon wall, get to the probes, and well, that'll basically seal the deal right there, unless Surikata can make something happen, busts out of the natural here.
Oh, mines are doing so much damage to mitigate that. Shuttle with a Reaver and it goes down to the turrets, unfortunately. So again, back to just a few goons. Surikata tried everything they can, but that main at this point is nearing mined out. And he got Holmes his third, which you don't really have a good answer for. Try and build cannons way in the back. Anything you do to buy some time, but the attack will keep going through. Vultures go back into the main as well, laying mines and mineral lines. Do not use those cells to fight these. That's a tragedy waiting to happen. Oh no.
Oh wow, very painful.
And Surikata tried to sneak an expansion up at the top right. Hopefully he doesn't get found. Probes being evacuated right into the vulture line. Oh no.
Oh jeez.
Oh no.
Wow, that's brutal.
Yeah, everything's just going really well for Amazon here. All these attacks, like just Surikata's having a little too much trouble dealing with. You can see that supply really kind of plummeting down. Pretty big deficit, lost a lot of workers, and that main, even with losing the workers, is going to mine out sooner rather than later. Amazon just keeps rallying forward. Did you ever start that next level upgrade? You got the starboard. What do you ever use it for?
Well, it's still sitting there. The SCV that built it is also still sitting there.
Another move out. Lots of Zealots trying to go through. Mine's doing a lot, but all the vultures do die. Can they get to these turrets? A couple tanks will take some damage. Finally a stasis. It has the energy. A nut arbiter goes down to the turrets though. Oh. These turrets have done so much work this game in a way that is kind of infuriating me. I'm so angry just watching this happen.
This is why map makers are careful about where they allow terrain to be buildable. Because Terran.
Well, imagine a world where you can't build static defense at your natural. How much worse that would be. You just like, I could build turrets at your natural.
Oh, it kicked me out of BattleNet. Give me a moment.
Not a problem. We're going to get the next game up. It is the last set of the night, so hopefully your shenanigans with your net not going to be too much more impactful. But still, that's a well-played game from Amazon. And that's a little scary. Like, as Protoss, when you play someone that like doesn't attack like that, you're like, oh, crap, I didn't defend it. Sure, you could like not go with the Reaver this time. You know, try to get Storm's option if you want to go that way. Try to get the Arbiter faster. But we'll see if there's any kind of adjustment. Eclipse can be a very scary map to play on, but we'll go into game 2 and see how these guys do.
I think what the general consensus about this map was, the longer it goes, the more Terran favored it becomes. Does that sound about right?
I'll talk about that in a second. In the top right, in the blue Terran, it's Amazon 3000. And in the bottom left, in the red Protoss, it's Surikata. I'd say, yeah. It feels that way for sure, because I think Protoss has no problem getting to like 4 bases. The 5th one, kind of hard to get, while Terran shouldn't have any problem getting to 3, and probably not that much trouble getting to 4. And unlike like a 4-player macro map, you can't just take over the whole map and just run them over with a ton of money. You do have to actually fight, kind of go for it. So it could definitely be a little hard. I think with some of the bases you take, recall is very strong though, so there's definitely options. But yeah, I don't think you really want to. You want to be like into that like mid-late game with a lead. is Protoss.
I see. I understand carriers are pretty good on this map.
Carrier's good in every map, my friend.
As you say.
It's just like Mutas for me. It's not that they're good or bad. There's definitely masters that are better, but it's your control. Are you really good at like making sure the interceptor boys on the field, putting your carriers in positions where it's hard to anti-air them properly? I think there's definitely you could play carriers on this map without any issue. It's just if your control is there, you kind of make it happen. But it's like when you go through like to me, like you go through the middle of the map, you got those two big lanes. Like a stasis on one of the lanes to really shut down one of the push would give you a chance to kind of circle around the other way. Or it's like if you manage to get the pressure outside the Terran natural and you can lock off those reinforcements, then you're in a really good spot. So carriers are just not my preferred. I could see it working fine though.
Things look pretty normal here. Terran side. Protoss as well. Gas going up. So probably a cyber core opening, yeah?
I mean, it better be. if these players are tier 1, it better be. You can see actually getting the second pylon before the cyber core, not immediately rushing into the gas. Wants to build a couple gateways. I think he got that probe in there. I was hoping maybe there's an opportunity to kind of harass, get a little bit of damage done, but you could see that Sim City built up. It's going to be hyper annoying to deal with the Marines if you're paying attention to this turn. So this early zealot, don't think it's going to work out the way you're looking for. There's that cyber core you were saying.
Okay, so we get the early zealot, but we're keeping it at home and chasing the SCV. I mean, so we could either just go straight to goons, right? Or we can get the early zealot. Well, what's really the key difference between the two?
If you're really worried about some things, the early zealot can help out. Like if you're worried about proxy reaction and this kind of stuff, it's this added DPS for this eBay block that we're seeing here. It does help with any of that kind of little shenanigans. Also, there might have been just if Zerg saw a bad SimCity, like in Amazon, it's like he would have the zealot that he can go try to do something, but since the SimCity is good, it's just not even worth your time. And if you can get in the perfect spot, it will block the re-entry. It does actually kill the scout. It doesn't get in to see this early robo. So, Zerg didn't actually get to play with the Reavers last time. Maybe they're trying it again, which would be awesome.
I have so much respect for Reaver players. Reaver plays hard.
It is, but they're fun. It's like one of those reasons that this is why you play Protoss. It's like, I feel like there's always a couple years like you play Zerg because I like meters or I like lurkers or whatever. Like I think most people that try Protoss like either they like Dark Templars or they like Reavers. And they just kind of go from there. Oh no, Scout gets in. What's it gonna see? Amazon, do you see he does see the fast robo. No other buildings are here to really kind of get everything away, but it is a little bit weird getting the robo so quickly. And builds the support bay in front of the Scout's face. Oh god. Can't say I love that. Whatever, he's committed. He's doing it, he doesn't care. Shuttle's on the way as well, and actually gonna get the next behind us. One big thing about what we're seeing, all the stuff, that gateway has been very inactive for quite a while. So, not a lot of ground forces here. If Amazon was paying attention to that, you can plan for a nice push if you want to be aggressive, or know that you're not under any threat and do whatever you want to do, nice and safe.
So the shuttle pops for Suricata, and now Reaver.
It should be. Just need the money. They are an expensive little guy. Second factory going down for Amazon. We'll see. It looks like mines have been finished. So, you get your vultures on the map, start being a little bit annoying here. Gonna move on over. Put the mine at the third base. Keep slowing down these expansions. As the other big thing is like that eBay block, you know exactly when that Nexus gets started. So, as Terran right now, like, that Nexus is not even done yet. You're already actively mining from your natural. You are feeling really good about the situation. And we saw the Reaver play that is heading here. Armory is done. Will that be for Goliath? That would be a nice little move to make sure the shuttle has to chill out a little bit more, but so a couple turns going down instead.
We should see at least 2 Goliaths be produced, but an armory at this stage of the game kind of indicates to me that Amazon might want to play the upgrade style Terran. Getting that fast 2-1 and maxing out perhaps and making a timing push.
Well, remember what we saw last game. He got the armory just for the +1, went up to 6 facts and just killed him.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Also that, so we'll see where it goes from here. Now, the Reaver's in the shuttle, but the shuttle hasn't moved out yet. Waiting maybe for an observer just to not fly that shuttle into impending doom. So, we're going to slowly move across the map, see what's going on, but the turret ring is starting to get established. Oh, I love this from Amazon. He's got the turret at the front wall, but he's also got one at the side of the minerals, so harassing that natural is going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, this turret ring is fantastic. It covers every angle. I think there's not a single point that's weak that shuttle could penetrate.
Yeah, it'd be risky to kind of go about anywhere. Like, you're not going to go unseen. There's definitely spots where you can kind of go through, but even if you manage to like drop and try to go for the natural, because of that one turret on the right side, I think the Scarab path is just going to be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Ooh, shuttle goes through, sees a vulture, which means the vulture sees it as well. Zerg's going to go deflect that, but that means another game with the Reaver opener where you're not getting to play with your Reavers. So Zerg not getting to do the plan they're going for. We see a Citadel being added on as well, so maybe move towards that Arbiters like what we saw in the last game. You know, if you liked your strategy, it's like maybe things didn't go your way, maybe we'll see what we're going on for here. Adding on a lot of gateways this time, so the style does look a little bit different. Not rushing to get that third base up and running instead.
I think I like this, the powering up idea instead. It's a different approach, and we might see a different outcome from Suricata this time around.
Shuttle's moving around. This is really trying to check for some kind of opening, but he starts really locking it down. Suricata. I don't think there's going to be a spot where you could really take the shuttle, but he is trying. He wants to do this so badly.
Absolutely. I hope he finds the opportunity too. I'd love to see it.
All things considered, with how late that Nexus is, doing a good job trying to catch back up on workers. Amazon kind of cutting things a little bit here and there, but you can see got the SVs in place. It looks like he's going up with that 6 factory we just saw last game, and we saw how strong that attack ended up being. It's going to be a little bit longer of a distance here, so you can kind of get more of a notice. He's got observers to help see it as well, but you know, the tech path you can see are with the Stargate out of the way, but no Templar. Oh, there's the Templar Archives. He built that way ahead. Okay. Yeah,
Vultures with the third.
Yeah, just trying to be a little bit annoying, but you still got that one mine, so you're really delaying this kind of base here. I think Amazon like building up to this giant 2-base push. By the time Suricata manages to take that third base, you can also scan around. It's like Arbiter, you got at this point here, will you have stasis? I think there's gonna be an easy way to kind of figure out like the maximum point of weakness. Especially since Suricata will still only have like 5 gateway production, because the plan is to expand at some point, right? So I don't know. Amazon's attack probably gonna hit really hard, and I am very worried for Suricata.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough production online to match this. The 6 factory count, it's going to explode with tons of macro pouring out units, and there's just nothing, there's no vision in Terran's base, so Suricata has no way of knowing, really.
Credit to him, he's been trying to move the shuttle. He's been trying to find something. Unfortunately, just gonna go back home. He knows, like, all right, gig is up, not gonna happen. Nexus has been started. Amazon knows the timing, so we'll see when the attack wants to kind of go through. You can see trying to spend the money the best they can. Actually, a little bit idle right now, but if you're really focused on his attack, you can just move out at this point. You got the +1. You got a group of tanks, and an observer gets shot with a turret, so they know the move out. Amazon's force looking pretty scary at this point. Zerg's got to come out into the middle of the field, but they don't have a whole lot of tech to play with. At least meet them on the high ground. It's your best chance here, and he's really trying to rush to make sure that happens. Dude, even at the low ground, tanks sieging up. A couple vultures can keep moving forward and you're going to be able to easily reinforce, but there's so many tanks here. Without the splash damage, is going to be a bit of a problem. Zealots, they're not even
We
fast
don't want to
zealots.
engage. Yeah, not the engagement we were looking for there.
Arbiter halfway done. Eventually Stasis will be available, but Zealot speed just being started. This is a big mistake here. You're never going to be able to get any kind of decent mind drags or good engage onto this. You move forward with a couple of Marines from that bunker, but really, Amazon past these high ground ridges. Do you see that shuttle is here? There is a Reaver available, but half these Zealots are now dead. Gotta keep peeling back here, but Amazon, like, this force doesn't get any less scary. Just waiting for reinforcements, vultures to keep moving forward. The shuttle's gonna try to go in. Do not drop that Reaver. It is a death trap. Please don't do it. Wisely backs off as we're seeing the unsiege.
So now with turrets being built up and a siege contain beginning, is there anything Suricata can do at this point to stop this siege push?
Unfortunately, like, he doesn't have the arbiters fast enough for this. Again, the Reaver really kind of delaying things the way you want to go. It didn't have any kind of map presence. So again, we'll try to get things done. He's trying to use the shuttle, trying to go in, unsiege the tanks to make sure that there was a threat. He does get the fight against it. He does have the Arbiter now, so it's at least a cloaking field, but Stasis not available. Has to be careful not to lose that Arbiter, but it's got a lot of energy to go. All the ground force is gone at this point. Still has a Reaver, but that's not enough. There's too many tanks. Remember how, like, that force last game, there's 3 tanks doing all that work. This one, there's 11 still alive.
Yeah, for sure. So this is probably another slow death push into Protoss's territory. And I imagine once that natural nexus goes down, we might even see a GG.
I mean, I love that you said slow death push. I don't see any reason to be slow at this point. You got the Arbiter here. Stasis is like the one thing you really got to worry about, but there's no units coming out here. The Vultures just ran up into the main, doing big work in the Vultures from behind. Suricata is going to tap out of this one. Well played from Amazon, and that gets another 2-0, so only our first game was a 3-game series. That sucks. But a lot of good play we saw tonight. Ends up making our last score of the night. That was Lettuce Attack, right? Yeah, I think so. So that's going to put Lettuce Attack at 3. Yeah, well played from EX Amazon. So after the end of Tier 1 for our Grand Finals, Lettuce Attack, small lead. We got more games heading your way. I think the next cast for final stuff will be on the 15th, on a Friday. I think Dada is helping out with that. It's going to have a couple people around for that one as well. That would be a good time to watch. And then I know Schimo's claimed the Tier 3 action. He usually does it on the weekend, so you're going to have a lot of finals casting in the near future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Forte, thanks for joining me, buddy. It was a lot of fun games, and I was glad to have you casting with me.
Oh yeah, we sure were a hoot. I had fun. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. But that's gonna be it for us tonight. Like I said, I think the next cast will be on the